Warning! The Dub Talk Podcast Club may contain strong language that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. Also, there's always a possibility that we're going to be discussing spoilers for this anime and any other anime that may be out there. So please be careful while you're listening to us debate about, themes and actors and all that stuff for any series that you may not have finished. Also, remember everybody, just so that we don't get into any fist fights, Noah, or potential trips into the dungeon, I guess, that the views of everybody here reflect them of themselves and do not reflect Dub Talk as a whole. Now, with that being said, I think we can finally get this club meeting underway. I mean, it's only been, 5 years since we've tried to get this Hyouka club meeting episode done? I mean, Roots, where did you get all those pugs? What do you mean you traded them? What did you trade to get 5? No, just roll the episode, editor lady. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Dub Talk, the club where a group of like-minded fellows get together, solve some mysteries, and maybe review some recent dub announcements or a show that's out on home video now. I am your club vice president, Megan, and tonight I have with me club president and team mom, Lilac.
Hello.
I have our treasurer and pug wrangler, Roots.
Like Zoink Scoob!
And we have some asshole nobody likes, Noah Clue or some shit.
I like to stay sunny, regardless of the circumstances. It's great to be here.
I'm sorry, can I just say that I almost didn't believe that was Roots when he said hi?
You thought he went full
Shaggy?
You're going full Casey Kasem.
Casey Kasem is
full Shaggy today.
Casey Kasem is risen from the grave. And he's
That's
back
right,
for blood.
motherfuckers.
He's not dead. I hear him on the radio every Saturday night.
He lives
Your
on
radio
in
is
our
possessed.
hearts and on satellite radio.
That is true.
From coast to coast.
You know, they actually cast him as Shaggy's dad in Mystery Incorporated, which I thought was the coolest casting choice ever.
That is awesome. But
You know what's also cool casting choices? What we're gonna talk about tonight.
Segue!
Because speaking of rising things from the grave,
mythical dubs.
What Mom said.
Yar,
We're
it be
here-
a white whale.
Thank you,
Ishmael.
Thank you. I know you hate that book, Noah. So
I hate it very badly. Never ever read it. None of you. Don't even read the Cliff Notes version. Don't even watch the Wishbone episode about it.
yeah. Don't read Moby Dick. Instead, find somebody's Moby Dick, if you know what I'm saying.
No!
Anyway.
Whoa, this is not the time or place for that.
No,
Oh, wait, we're not
instead of
talk-
reading
that-
Moby
this
Dick,
isn't-
they should read a different novel. Megan, do you have another
maybe
novel
they
recommendation?
should watch a show based off of a light novel.
Even
In fact, tonight we are talking about Hyouka, the 2012 anime series from famed studio Kyoto Animation, revolving around the story of Kotaro Oreki, a high school boy who does not want to expend any energy, who gets wrapped up into the mysteries around his school by Eruchi Tanda, and by the wishes of his sister Tomoe to join the Classics Literature Club. Tonight we are here to talk about Hyouka from start to finish, as best we can. We're going to be reviewing the entire dub from episode 1 to 22, including the OVA that they did in fact dub for the release.
Which, if you're watching it on Funimation's website, I did not even realize it was a different episode because I wasn't paying attention to the
episode
numbers.
11.5.
Yeah.
It's the pool episode because it's the only episode with unneeded fan service.
There's no
Yep.
such thing as unneeded fan service.
Yes, there is.
This
Shut
is
your
why
mouth
it's
and sit the
no
fuck down.
It's called
a
the
rule.
Hot
Why it's
Springs
labeled
episode
OVA.
of Grimgar.
That's a good point,
I mean,
actually.
you're not wrong.
Okay, so for tonight's episode, I am in charge, which means that everything is going to end in disaster. The fields of the Chitanda family farm will, in fact, be on fire, and nothing will be solved.
Yay!
Oh.
So let's get started by figuring out who directed this wonderful little Kyo Annie show. Because this is a dub review, we are not going to be doing any predictions for the show. They came out.
We could
Let's
have.
face it, this came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, this literally came out of fucking nowhere. Out of the same hole they pulled Gosick out of, basically.
Pretty much, yeah.
Another show that you could not watch anywhere until they picked up the rights to it.
Yeah, this is now the first time that technically No, you could actually legally stream Gosick a couple of years ago.
Gosick, yes, but not
a couple years
Hyouka.
ago, but not for too long because Crunchyroll did take it down after. I think it was just before Bandai shut down too.
Yeah, it was right before Bandai shut down. But in
Yeah.
Hyouka's case, you could never actually legally watch the show.
Never.
No.
Which, if you're asking why I'm hosting, because I was a dirty, dirty pirate back in college.
Yes.
Shame.
And I watched the first 5 episodes of the show.
Well, that solves that mystery.
This is why Megan's hosting, because Megan's seen part of the sub. So, first off, we're going to talk about the directors of this show.
Directors, you say?
Yes, there are 2 directors of this show. Specifically, one director worked on episodes 1 to 12 and 18 through 22. The other one worked on episodes 13 through 17, which is known as the Kanya Festival, or Kanyasai. So the first director that we have for episodes 1 through 12 and 18 through 22 is going to be Mike McFarland. The episode director for episodes 13 through 17 is going to be Chris George. We're also going to take this time to also talk about our 2 writers on the show. They did not say who wrote what episode. You could probably go by the credits to see who wrote which. Unfortunately, on the blog and Funimation, on Funimation's blog or ANN, they do not divide this, so we're going to give them both equal billing. The 2 writers of this show are going to be Bonnie Klinkenbeard and Emily Neves. To go over a couple of shows that Mike McFarland has directed, he has directed Attack on Titan, Barakamon, and Mushishi. To talk about what Chris George has directed, he has directed Snow White with the Red Hair, both seasons, Monster Hunter Stories, Ride On, and unfortunately a little show that we all wish we could forget, And You Never Thought There Was a Girl Online.
No.
It's easy to forget if you've never watched it.
Not again.
Roots, it's okay. It's
okay, we're not talking about that. We're not talking about that.
No.
To go over what Bonnie Klinkenbeard has written, she has written series such as Noragami and Noragami Arigoto, Yuri on Ice, and A Centaur's Life. To talk about what Emily Neves has written, at least with Funimation, because if you've heard the name Emily Neves, she also works with Sentai Filmworks. She has also written for episodes of Snow White with the Red Hair, Planetarian, and Urahara.
Urahara being that show we're not talking about.
This
season. Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys. We're not talking about Urahara, which is why I'm saying it.
It's too good for us.
In the future, but we're not doing it now.
No, we're not talking about it because nobody wanted us to talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, screw that. I want to talk about crepes and strawberries.
Hey, guess what? We're not. We're instead going to talk about the writing and directing on this show.
Okay.
I vote that Noah gets to go first because he opened his fat mouth.
Awesome. I love going for... Wait. Oh, shoot. All right, I'll walk the plank first. Which is good. It's good, though. No, this is really good because I
Good, he can put his body in the crocodile's stomach so it won't eat us.
Oh my god.
Okay, that's a different mystery show altogether. As for this one, I really like the writing and the directing on this because, specifically, I didn't really know what to expect about the show going into it, except that it was a Kyoto Annie show, which meant we knew that it was going to be really adorable looking, and 2, that it was based on a novel. Not a video game, not a light novel, not a dating sim, but an actual, honest-to-God, words-in-print novel. So... that made me.
I believe it's actually a series of novels.
It is. You're right.
Each novel being each novel is a different mystery.
It's
Cool. I believe that is correct.
Well, regardless, this is still okay. It means that the form that you would originally read this in before they turned it into a cartoon was in with prose and dialogue and long descriptive lines explaining everything. So I didn't know if that would really translate well into the actual dialogue of the characters in the show. Fortunately, though, they take big advantage of a lot of the double meanings in words, and they have interesting lines that are really fun to listen to. Like one in particular that I really love was I think it was from episode 4 where you got the 2 characters who are riding on the bike going home, and one of them says it's starting to rain, and so he says, "I won't get rained out," because he didn't want to get rained out. And then one of the other characters responds back, "Perhaps you should rein it in a little." And I was like, Oh my god, I love cheesy dialogue like that so much.
Puns.
I know, I love puns, but they're like the kind of puns that you shouldn't be able to write. They're like things that only come up naturally when you're talking to your good friends. It's like the kind of bounce back and forth dialogue that works really well amongst close friends. So, and that they do that throughout like the entire show too. All four of the main characters work off of each other really well. They're all really well casted, and we'll get into that later. And yeah, there's just like a lot of good ear candy in the writing that I'm really glad that we got this writing team together because they do a really good job. So as far as adapting a novel into a cartoon, I'm going to give them thumbs up. This was way better than I thought it was going to be, and I'm really glad that they adapted it painterly.
Next person? Roots, do you want to go?
Sure, I can do that. I found it kind of weird, truth be told, mainly the script writing. Direction was fine, but, I don't know. The show itself, from my understanding, because I wasn't able to watch it sub before doing this episode, it plays a lot on Japanese wordplay. A story I would tell about why I find the script writing a little bit wonky is actually sort of in its localization history. Because, originally, we kind of found out that Hyouka was licensable through Netflix. Because it ended up on Netflix Japan, and it was given a kind of interesting name when you ran it through Netflix's search engine in English. It translated to something kind of spoilerific of the first arc, but Frozen Dessert was the title that Netflix gave it.
So they just went ahead and they actually translated the Japanese into English.
So, I mean, the show itself plays very, very heavily on Japanese wordplay. I think the scripts gave it a good college try, but I can imagine that it would be a completely different experience than watching it subtitled. And I'll have more thoughts about this toward the end of the show. In terms of direction, I think the characters were well cast. It sounded great. It's just, I feel this may be kind of a different experience. But I'll have more towards the end.
Okay.
Lila?
My turn? Okay.
Yeah.
So, in terms of... I'm probably going to start with the writing. The writing... I can see where you're coming from, Rooster. It seems like it might be a little bit... maybe a little bit difficult in terms of incorporating that wordplay. But I actually didn't see that as a problem, but that's probably more from the experience of myself not having seen the Japanese yet.
Mm-hmm.
And not even having that thought come across my mind. And now I'm actually curious to see what kind of experience it would be if I watched in Japanese. But I know one of the things I did enjoy, and I know Noah was kind of bringing it up a tiny bit, the funny little snappy lines, especially Odaki. He has some snappy comebacks, that child.
Yeah.
Like, I think one of my favorites that I wrote
What a
down.
sassy boy.
He's a sassy boy, and I love it. And
Who's so
I think
sassy?
His
I think
sister
one of my-
raised him well.
I think one of my favorite ones that I wrote down in my notes was, I can't remember who said it, maybe it was Satoshi. It was like, it's on the tip of my tongue, and his response, swallow it.
Yeah, I think it was Satoshi.
Yeah,
It
it
was
must
probably,
have been.
it
'Cause-
was probably Satoshi. I mean, who else would it be?
Yeah, exactly.
But Satoshi. So I did enjoy the writing. Directing-wise, with Chris George and the Kanya Festival, I thought it was a very solid arc, considering he has directed things like Snow White and the Red Hair previously. That in particular is what comes to mind when I think of Chris George being a perfect fit for working on Hyouka. Mike McFarlane, though, is one of those directors where 9 times out of 10 he's usually on the bigger projects, the more ones you would see as popular. But my favorite shows that he's directed are the ones that aren't as popular, to be completely honest with you. Like, because I did like Barakama, and I do love Mushishi. Shiki's probably one of my favorites. Shiki's probably one of my favorites that he's directed,
Absolutely,
honestly.
and I agree with you there.
And
Are you telling me
it's
that
one
that's
of-
not a popular show?
Shiki... No, I don't think so.
No.
But,
Go buy it.
But
people.
it's one of those, yes, go buy it real quick. But it's one of those things where it's like, I really love seeing Mike McFarlane on potentially smaller, maybe not so well-known or maybe popular shows, because I feel like he gets a bit more breathing room. He gets to have more fun with these shows instead of like trying to cater to a wide demographic and a larger audience. And especially with the casting choices, you can tell here. I mean, when we get to Otaki, I'm gonna say this again, but Otaki is the one reason I joined this episode in the first place. I'm not gonna lie. I saw the casting for Otaki, and I'm like, Megan, I need to be on Hyouka. You have to put me on Hyouka. Can I be on Hyouka? But we'll get into that a bit more later. But
The bribe money. Oh god, the bribe money.
oh, so much. I paid her in Love Live, even though it's her Christmas present. But
No, I'm buying you Mob Psycho. We're trading, and actually, I'm getting you the LE because there is no LE of Love Live.
shh.
Damn you, Aniplex!
Damn you, Bondi and Sunrise.
But anyways, I think it's a very, very solid directing and writing overall. I don't really have many complaints, if anything, but like Roots was saying, I'm honestly very curious to see just if it's a different experience if you were to watch in Japanese because of all those wordplay moments. But yeah.
It makes me wonder if, just going off of what Roots was saying, we ourselves, just at least us four, have consumed a large amount of dubbed and subbed anime before, right?
I would say
Yes.
I've probably consumed, out of all of us, more subbed anime than anybody.
Right, so we're already familiar enough with when a show explains wordplays to us, like especially like near the end of the school festival arc, there's a pretty long explanation about one plot point and how the wording on that plot point comes out. If you've
Such
never,
a long explanation.
it's a long ass explanation, and if you're a complete noob, like the kind of people who watch shows that Mark McFarlane usually directs, then you're probably not going to get that. It's kind of like you're just going to tune it out.
Yeah.
I think for those of us who are like a little more in the know, have some affiliation with the language and how double meanings work and how syllables in Japanese is like all phonetic, then it probably isn't as difficult to interpret.
And there's always a lot of like really sneaky wordplay that you may not be thinking of a lot, like people's names being puns and stuff, like
Right.
Yeah.
that stuff.
So
There's a lot of things that we could really go into with this, because a lot of people honestly did call this a undubbable show.
Yeah.
yeah, we
Oh.
There
Okay.
was a lot of people called this show undubbable. This was one of those like pantheon of shows like Bakemonogatari, which will never see a dub. One, because Aniplex is a bunch of cheap ass bastards.
that's most
I
of the
mean,
reason.
you're not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Fight me, I'm not wrong. But it's in that like range of things. And also, for the record, when we get to the four main characters, I am gonna pull up their seiyuu, just so that we can go between the two voices, because again, this was a show for a long time that was only viewable in the subtitled version.
If done illegally.
If done illegally.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the next episode of Subtalk, the premium podcast about subtitled anime.
Damn it!
My thoughts on the directing and writing is that, honestly, it was such a well put together dub that you could not really tell that there was two different directors for two different arcs.
Yep.
Because in my mind, the way that Chris George directs his anime is different from Mike McFarlane directing an anime. Because they both use different actors. They both use, they both tend to use a different actor pool. Whereas, when we get to certain characters, I'll note that, hey, this is kind of a casting twist that Chris George would do. Hey, this is kind of more Mike McFarlane. With, obviously, I will say, I think Mike McFarlane's presence on the show as a director really did help bring people like Emily Neves in. Because while Emily Neves does work on Funimation stuff like Snow White with the Red Hair, which she worked with Chris George, Planetarian, where she's worked with Cliff Chapin, I feel like this show, we don't really know when they were putting the dub together for it.
I mean, if I had to guess,
I'm gonna guess it was sometime potentially late last year, early the beginning of this year.
I'm about to say, if I had to take a wild guess, it had to at least be around the same time as Gosick was in production.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I can say they probably started it maybe late summer, early fall, and there's a reason for that, and I'll bring it up.
Yeah, but I think honestly, for as challenging of a show as this could be, because of the fact that this is a show that relies exclusively on the Japanese alphabet, that relies on Japanese language, and we do not have a very similar alphabet to Japan. If you've ever seen the hiragana alphabet, it is vastly different from the Phoenician alphabet.
Well, you're talking about the English alphabet.
It's if you use the alphabet, think the Phoenicians. I've been on Spaceship Earth enough times in my goddamn life.
I don't even know what.
Yeah, the phonetic. I think we use the phonetic alphabet. If we're wrong, correct me. I have a degree in humanities, and I can't tell you what goddamn alphabet we use.
I think the word you're looking for is Latin-based.
Latin-based language. They did a really good job and a really good effort in translating this. And honestly, this is a show that I do agree with Roots that you would get two different experiences watching it in sub and watching it in the dub.
Okay.
But they're not, just because they're two different experiences doesn't mean that one is better or worse than the other. Because I actually really did enjoy the dub. I thought a lot of the dialogue was very natural. I thought a lot of the chemistry in the show is well put together and well casted. I thought that they used a really interesting core cast that I feel like if this dub was put out in 2012 when this show came out, 2013, it honestly I don't think would have been as enjoyable to me.
Interesting.
I feel like this is kind of more final thoughts, but when we get to these characters, we will. But I think that sums up my writing, and especially too for me, I think they got a good mix between writers and Bonnie and Emily.
Yeah,
because Bonnie is really, really known for being more close to the Japanese, with rare exceptions being Yuri on Ice, with certain dialogue. And to me, Emily is known for doing kind of more zany, off-the-wall stuff. Because I believe she directs Watamote, correct?
Did she? I didn't know that.
I believe she directed
I'll look
Watamote,
that up for you.
Correct? But she's also written, no, that was Caitlin Barr, never mind.
You beat me to it.
Yeah, I thought she wrote on Monster Musume, but that was Caitlin Barr. But I think they kind of straddled the line, getting people who could do fun stuff, but also stay true to the Japanese and not twist it too far away, because those people who are dirty pirates. Myself being one at one point. I'm not proud of it, but I now legally subbed everything and have spent.
I mean, let's face it. When you're starting out, you are a filthy pirate.
Well, speaking
I've learned my lesson.
I totally did not watch Haruhi Suzumiya on illegal sites when I first started watching anime. Totally.
Yeah, totally. But I have now since have an anime collection that could fund some kids' college funds. So anyway, are we all ready to move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Just one last thing as a bit of context for when the show came out. I'm not talking about the dub, because the dub obviously came out this year.
Yeah, the dub came out 5 years later?
Yes, but the original show came out in the spring of 2012 and ran for it was 2 core. Notably, this was the first show that Kyoto Anime made right after they made Nichijou. So to give you a bit of context for jumping from a wacky 4-coma adaptation of that with a very different art style into this, might give you a whiplash.
To give you a general time frame of what other shows were coming out around the same time that this came out, this is when Excel World, the first season of Kuroko's Basketball, Sankareya, Is This a Zombie, Kids on the Slope, Jormungand, Suritama, Mysterious Girlfriend X, Eureka 7 AO, Kingdom, Lupin the Third, Fujiko Mine. These were all shows that were just starting to come out. I specifically picked those shows because those shows have since they were all dubbed before this.
Well, the reason I point out the production history in it is because Nichijou, notably, and we talked a little bit about this in the Dragon Maid episode, Nichijou was kind of a big letdown sales-wise for KyoAni. So you see them in Hyouka starting to take a shift into not just doing wacky comedy, but they're doing something very different with their, not just their art style, but also what kind of shows they're trying to make. So this will give us some...
they're gonna immediately revert back to that within like 2 months, because they're gonna do Love, Chubunyo, and Other Delusions. But it's gonna be about a year later or so, they're gonna put out this little independent project called Free Iwatobi Swim Club.
Thank you, memes. Memes! Ruining everything for everyone.
Thank you, Tumblr, and your fucking crazy petitions. Also, later in that year, they're also gonna be putting out a little series called Beyond the Boundary that Stephanie and I like a lot.
Yes.
Which probably shares more of an similar art style to Hyouka than Free does.
Still a little bit. I actually believe they have the same animation director. That's why.
They probably do, actually. Now you say it.
Speaking of directors, we should probably move on to the first arc of this show, shouldn't we?
Yes, we should. No, second. First, that's the second arc.
Okay.
No.
Well,
our first set of characters.
The last major arc of the show.
The last major arc of the show / the first set of characters we're going to talk about is the Kanya Festival, or the Kanyasai, otherwise known as the Juumonji Incident. This is going to take up the 4 episodes that Chris George directed. In this, there's a lot of characters, however, they are only seen within this arc.
No, they're not. What are you talking about?
One is not.
2
One
aren't.
is not. 2 aren't.
Well, it's kind of interesting.
Fuck you!
Some of the characters do show up like in small bits throughout different arcs, but
they are mostly seen in this particular.
They are most important to this arc.
All right, so the characters we're going to be talking about are Korayuki Tani, who is a boy in Satoshi's class who is obsessed with beating him in everything he does. There's going to be Mahashi. I think it's Mahashi. Fuck it. Masahi Toigato, who is a member of this motherfucker.
Point to the screen.
Otherwise known as Smokey. He is a third year that runs the newspaper club and is of an influential family of educators in the town that the main characters live in, much like how Eruchi Tanda's family is very known for their farming peasants. There is Tanabe Jiro, who is the co-head of the festival itself, and he is also the Juumonji culprit. Stealing people's items.
Spoilers.
In reference... There's a fucking disclaimer.
Just saying.
Stealing items in regards to a manga that he would never get to complete with his friend, who is... with 2 friends, one of them who left, and the other one who is the head of the festival itself.
Frickin' Agatha Christie fanboys.
Ayako Koichi, a bitch and cosplayer in the manga club with Mayaka. Shoko Yusa, who is the president of the manga club, and Kaho Juumonji, the one and only member of the fortune-telling club, as well as a shrine maiden at the shrine that they go to for New Year's. So going in order of the characters, Korayuki is played by Micah Solasad. Masahi is played by Ian Sinclair. Somewhere Gigi is splooging. Tanabe Jiro is played by Dave Trosco.
Oh my god.
I was drinking my water, you son of a bitch!
You pee.
I didn't know you were gonna pull the Dave card on me.
That's the only way I will ever talk about Dave Trosco. Ayako the bitch Koichi is played by Brina Palencia. Shoko is played by Dawn Bennett, and Kaho is played by Afia Yu. Micah Solasad, you know him for series such as Soul Eater, Yuri on Ice, and World End. Can You Save Us? Long ass title. Ian Sinclair, you know him in Yona of the Dawn, Sir Vamp, and Blood Blockade Battlefront. Dave Trosco, you know from Hitalia, Seraph of the End in Orange. Seraph of the End in Orange, not Seraph of the Orange. That'd just be weird. That'd be a weird fucking crossover. Gay vampire and Micah Solasad's in both of them.
Focus, Megan. Focus.
Brina Palencia, you know for series such as Spice and Wolf, Black Butler, and Durarara Season 2. Dawn Bennett, you will know in series such as Dance with Devils, Fairy Tail, and Anime Gatsuris.
Which we should be talking about, but none of you voted for it.
for it. And Afia we know for series such as Gosick, Shonen Maid, and Kantai Collection. So, Noah, since you went first last time, why don't you start us here?
You're seriously going to make me talk about all 6 of these characters back
Yes,
back?
at once!
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go!
Okay.
Go!
Yeah, okay, now, to be fair, that's okay, because, like I said, these characters are written in a way that they kind of, weave in and out of the back and forth, because the show, during this arc of the school festival, kind of cuts between the main 4 characters and what they're all doing, so we cut between bored sitting in a classroom trying to sell 200 collections of an anthology that we should not have printed, cut to the manga club where we're having a debate about the merits of manga, cut to the cooking challenge, like everything around. Okay, so all these characters.
You mean like more to cut to whatever the fuck Satoshi's doing that day?
That was that was hilarious. No, that was what Eru was doing. How she kept getting distracted by, I've got, I need to get to the classroom, but not before I get a model in a, what was it? She was dressed in a cheerleading outfit.
A lot of things. She modeled a lot of things.
Yeah. So basically the whole
fan service.
And you said the pool episode was the only one with unnecessary fan service.
You know what? There's a lot of things with unnecessary fan service. One of them is Fairy Tail.
You're not wrong.
So the question is, how do all 6 of these guys do? All right, first off, I'm going to point out Afia first of all, because I did not realize that was her. She has like this low, droll voice, and as the only member of the fortune-telling club, I really like that voice on her. I don't think I've heard her use that before. Like, did she have a similar voice in Gosick? I haven't seen that yet.
I'd say kind of, but I feel like you would have heard her use that similar type of voice in a different show. Because that's kind of normally the tone of voice that you usually hear from her.
Okay, so yeah, I was used to, like, the one that comes to mind more is her voice in Alice in Zoroku, where she's got more of a normal voice. With, like,
that is one of the shows I remember now I have to watch on my Thanksgiving break.
Yes, you do, because especially...
You gotta fix that.
Right, so point is, yeah, Afia does a really good job in a part that... It feels like a bit part, but it's a good bit part, because it's our introduction to someone is stealing all of our stuff, our Wheel of Fortune card has been stolen, and so I can't do tarot readings anymore. So good on her. Dawn doesn't get to do too much as the mediator, because most of the action in that scene is with Brina going off about how manga criticism specifically is not really of any merit, because y'all are just going to read the genres you like anyway, so why do we criticize it? You're not going to listen to the criticism, which feels a little too on the nose when we're doing a podcast criticizing the dumb of an anime.
I mean, art imitates life, guys.
That it does. Also, I love the fact that there's, the manga cosplayers, some of them are dressed up as Vocaloids, and there's specifically a point where they piss off one of the characters, and so she turns around to the Vocaloids and says to them, like, I think I wrote it down actually, it was something along, okay, alright, if you don't know anything, you should keep your mouth shut. To a bunch of Vocaloids of all people.
Burn!
So yeah, Brina, awesome job on that. I think she does bitchy all too well, but then again, this is the same woman who voices Holo, who can be a bitch sometimes, but we love her for it. So good job on you, Brina. And as for the last three all kind of like blend together. Actually, no, Ian and Dave kind of blend together, because even though they get different roles to play, they're all kind of like this older, kind of like, I think I'm too good for you sort of mentalities that, it's good. It fills the role they need to fill really well. But last but not least, Micah's performance. I know why he was written into the show. He was written to be a red herring character. But now I want to go watch a pup named Scooby-Doo. But that's not the point. Micah, really good job on playing a...
It was red herring!
Hey, Jones! It wasn't me! Stop blaming me! So yeah, Mike.
How many Scooby-Doo references can we make in one episode?
We will reference every mystery show, series, and book we can. And by the way, when we're done recording this, we're gonna go watch The Great Mouse Detective.
No, we're not.
Yay! I want to watch Vincent Price sing to me. Oh, right again.
All right, I'm gonna do this last part in Vincent Price voice. So, I think that Micah Solasad is an absolutely bastard of a character who I'm absolutely glad was put into this role. And if he continues to do roles like this, I'll be absolutely happy for a role that was absolutely kind of a bit of a throwaway, but it was a lot of fun to keep around. So yeah, good job on all these guys for filling the different slots that need to be filled. That made the arc a little more watchable because, and we can talk about this near the end, I know some of us had some problems with this particular arc, at least in marathoning it. But acting-wise, good job on playing different high schoolers, all you people. Take it away, some other human. Or non-human. I don't judge.
I guess I'll go next.
Okay.
Really, honestly, Micah was a little shitlord in this performance.
I mean, you're not wrong.
And honestly, I kind of wish he would play more characters like this. I mean, you have Soul, obviously, from Soul Eater, but Soul is also kind of, like, deeper and quieter. Because, face it, outside of Yorichiro, he plays a lot of very, like, not as loosey-goosey funny as Kodayuki is. Because, I mean, Yuichiro is funny, but Yorichiro is a moron, not, like, a little troll pain in the ass. When you think of Yurio, you think of the stick that is shoved so far up of Yurio's ass that he might as well be a puppet. And then the less I remember World End, the better. But I really enjoyed him, like, kind of busting Satoshi's balls. Ian Sinclair as Masahi, he was a little bit weird for me. I think the performance is fine, but sometimes I feel like it came off that you could clearly tell they casted him as a third year who was on the brink of adulthood. So it was a little bit off to me, but otherwise it was a perfectly fine performance. Afia as Kaho was really kind of fun because she was a lot more quieter than characters like, she kind of reminded me a little bit of her character in Tsukigakure, but a little older. Dawn Bennett was kind of not what I expected her to be in, like, really soft-spoken Shoko. Brina Palencia was convincing enough that I wanted to smack that girl in the face.
Yeah, I remember
like,
you came into the chat being like, I relate to the scene a little too much, didn't you?
Yeah, I related to that scene with being in the Mayaka standpoint way too much. This is what happens when you moderate forums. But I think she pulled off Ayako being both bitchy and then kind of realizing how rude she was being, but then also in her realization to Mayaka that she can never accept what's called the corpse by evening. We'll go into this a little bit more when we get to Mayako, but she cannot accept this manga because it was written by her friend that moved away, who only occasionally drew while she drew a lot, and she was very jealous of her talent. So admitting that A Corpse by Evening was a masterpiece in her mind was kind of admitting to her own jealousy and stuff. And I think Brina, even though she was only in the show for a little bit, really pulled it off. However, the biggest surprise for me is one Mr. Dave! Let's go. Dave!
This
no.
Here's
the thing. I remember this happening. Like, she watched the episode. She realized suddenly that it was Dave Trosco. She comes in the chat. She's like, Dave!
All I literally scream whenever we talk about Dave Trosco is I just scream Dave in all caps. Because there's only two interactions with Dave Trosco, watching him act and having him go on Twitter being like, can you please watch my show that I'm directing?
No. I think the best part is, because we were having that little chat and you were freaking the hell out because it was Dave and you didn't believe it. I think I screen capped that
and you put it on
chat.
Twitter and everybody's like, what show are you watching?
And he's like, what are you talking about? What show? And I'm like, well, I can't really say. I don't have much.
So guess what, Trosco? It's this fucking one.
Surprise!
Surprise! I scream, you scream, we all scream for Dave!
Ouch! We love you, Dave. We love you.
We love you, Trosco. But here's my thing. If anybody's wondering why I could not piece that together as Trosco, do you guys ever have this moment where, like, no matter whatever this actor does, he is always one character in your mind?
Oh, yeah.
Kind of, yes. But I know where you're going with this.
The only thing I ever pictured Dave Trosco being is Gurren from Seraph of the End. I don't know why,
mistake.
But it's only Gurren. And if you've never watched Seraph of the End, the only thing that should fuck Gurren is life.
I mean, you're
fuck
not wrong.
Fuck this character. Jesus, take the wheel.
Jesus, take the wheel. Take it from my hands.
Lilac, take the mic. Take it
all right,
from
Take
my
it from this
Stop,
podcast.
stop.
'cause I
I'll go, I'll
can't
go, I'll
do
go.
this
Stop it.
podcast on my own.
Stop it, stop it.
Noah.
Noah. All right. So,
Do you want
to kind of make this short and sweet, I did enjoy all of them. They were all fun performances in their own way, and they matched the personality of their respective characters wonderfully. The only one I have a slight issue with is probably Ian. The only reason why I say this, and similar to the reason why Megan was maybe iffy on it, was probably not just the fact that it was an obvious casting to make it sound like a third year, but, and this is gonna be very rare that I say this because it's Ian Sinclair, I feel like the voice felt a little too old for the character.
Really?
Harlot!
Yes.
Whore!
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like,
Traitor!
Well,
I mean,
Lilac, you do realize that most of the actors at Funimation aren't actually in high school, right?
You're ruining the illusion. Shut up. You're gonna be killed by the dub
no,
mafia.
even
Like-
then.
Oh god,
I mean,
no,
truth
no,
be
not
told,
the
I
big-
agree with Lilac on this one, but I'll have
Yeah.
my opinions later.
Yeah, because,
No, if
like,
you
if
say
you're
that,
looking,
you
if
know
you're
that,
looking,
like...
if you're looking at, like, all the other people who are in this group here, I would say all of them, save for Ian and maybe Dave Trosco, all of them are in the same age range. But and it kind of makes sense that even though maybe mid-late 20s, at oldest maybe early 30s, it makes sense because, I mean, there are shows that deal with high school where you have that age range playing those characters. Let's face it, it's facts of life here. But in Ian's case, it's one of those weird, rare occurrences where I enjoyed the performance. I think the performance is fine. But compared to some of the other characters in the show, the voice itself just seemed a little too old for the character.
Okay, fair enough. And it like to take you out of the illusion that you were watching a high school dramedy.
Only for like maybe a split second.
By the way,
And then
Noah,
I was
you know-
able to go with it.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, Noah, if you ruin the illusion that none of these actors are actually in high school, you know that, like, a car's gonna roll up with, like, Mike McFarlane, Chris Sabat, J. Michael Tatum, and Ian Sinclair.
They got like brass knuckles
and they're gonna, like,
clubs.
they've got, like, they've got, like, those cheap, bad anime masks from, like, fucking, like, the Halloween, Spirit Halloween, and they're gonna beat you over the head
Oh my
with a
god!
bag full of microphone covers, and they're gonna stuff you in a body pillow and throw you into a river in Michigan.
Yeah, could they at the very least put on like the masks from like the characters from Dead Man Wonderland and like, you know, make it a
No, you don't deserve that.
Oh,
Just like you don't deserve the Big Toblerone.
don't watch Neo Yokio, people.
No,
Too
do
old
watch
for
Neo
high
Yokio
school
if you hate
kids,
yourself.
are we?
Anyway, but yeah, other than my small nitpick with Ian, I think all of them are rather solid. I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet to the point, honestly.
Fair enough.
All right, Roots.
Largely, I agree with you. I hate to say it. I want to
Okay.
be kind of original in my opinion, but like all of my things have been said. Actually,
I mean,
So
originality,
remember, guys,
what's
if you
that?
find Roots like hung over some moose antlers, we all know who killed him.
honestly, an interesting observation though with Ian Sinclair. Kind of glad
Okay.
you brought up that he did sound too old because at his panel at A-Fest, he did mention that he doesn't like playing high school kids anymore because he feels he's out of it.
I
I'm
forgot that he said
He
that.
is out of his age range.
I forgot he said that.
Well, I mean,
However,
So-
he can still play some high school
Oh,
looking
right,
characters. Well,
absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
no one. I'm pretty sure we can all agree, those of us who've seen the show Servamp, that Ian Sinclair was the shining star of Servamp, but Lawless looks
I
like a
mean-
fucking
Oh,
high
absolutely.
schooler.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I mean, his very first leading role was as the teacher from Bamboo Blade, so, you know, already starting off with being a little too old for high school sounding.
And I actually kind of, now that you say that, because I forgot, again, that kind of links into maybe around the time that the dub went into production. But that's going to be a conversation that I'm probably going to bring up when we talk about Otaki in a little bit. But
Okay, so So just to wrap it up.
But
I
really liked Micah Soulsod as the little shitlord. I didn't know that was Dave Drosco either. Like,
oh my god.
Dave!
The only reason I knew is because I knew the cast list. I'm like, where's Dave? Is this Dave's character? This is Dave's character.
I had forgotten about the cast list when I was watching this. Because I
watched this like months after.
I literally burned through the entire second core like all of today.
Wow.
Bravo.
So you basically did the same thing that Megan did with marathoning ping pong all in one day.
Except for I marathon like most of ping pong in a day.
Yeah, like the entire 11 episodes of the second core and like 5 episodes of the first last night. Because that power outage last week kind of really threw off my scheduling.
Yeah, we were originally, at the time of recording it right today.
We were supposed to record it
last week, but
no, 2 weeks ago.
Maine had power outages, ladies and gentlemen.
2 weeks ago, almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago actually. Maine had power outages, ladies and gentlemen, so we couldn't really do it.
Yeah, and if we couldn't do it tonight and Lilac didn't have to work that next morning, we were actually gonna almost end up recording this on my birthday.
Woo!
Because it's kind of a Dub Talk tradition that we try to record something on my birthday.
I mean, at this point, it's become that, yes.
I mean, at this point, I'm gonna try to wrangle up a show that you're not on with me that we can record. But somebody hasn't bought me fucking Flying Witch yet, so are we good to move on?
It's going on sale next week. Keep your pants on.
You don't know that.
Yes, I do. You don't.
You
don't get Sentai's email list, do you?
No, I do. I just don't check it.
Then
because I'm at work 9 times out of 10, Noah.
Sentai is going full Oprah on us this Black Friday.
The only major opinion I have other than that is, I actually kind of liked Afia more in the Shrine Maiden standalone episode than her actual role in the Kanya Festival arc.
Did she sound different? I didn't notice a change in voice.
No, but you got a little bit more of a sense of her personality and all that.
Well, I guess so.
Anyway, are we all ready to move on to the next arc?
What's our fortune, Megan? Read our fortune.
Our fortune is that we're going to talk about the one arc I believe everybody likes least. Or at least somebody does. And that is going to be the Class 2F film ending arc. This takes up, I believe, episodes like 7 through 11.
Too many. It takes up too many episodes.
It's like 5 episodes. It's a pretty decent chunked arc, in which the main 4 have been tasked by the class representative of Class 2F to figure out how to end their movie. But it turns out to be all a ruse that the character of Irisu Fuyumi uses Oreki against himself to make her own class look better. So, in this, we have the 3 detectives that Class F put together. Tomohiro Haba, Nakajo Junya, and Misaki Sawakiguchi. There is Eba Kurako. Kura, K-U-R-A, not K-U-R-O. Kuraka, who is kind of like the secretary. And, of course, one Irisu Fuyumi, who is Chitanda's friend and the daughter of the family that runs all of the hospitals in town. So Tomohira is voiced by one Damon Mills. Nakajo is voiced by Alejandro Saab. Misaki is voiced by Sarah Wiedenheft. Iba is voiced by Jade Saxton. And Irisu is voiced by Alexis Tipton. Damon Mills, you will know him from Nanbaka, Yuri on Ice, and The Royal Tutor. Alejandro Saab, you will also know for Nanbaka with his husband bro, Damon, Akiba's Trip, and Kiss Him Not Me. Sarah Wiedenheft, you will know for series such as Grimgar, Ashes and Illusions. She has recently been announced in Dragon Ball Z Super and Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid, another Kyoto animation series. Eba is voiced by, voiced by Jade Saxton, who you know for series such as Token Rambu Hanamaru, Fairy Tail, and Michiko and Hachin. And Alexis Tipton, you will know from series such as Sakura Quest, Show by Rock, and Seraph of the End. So, who would like to go first with Class 2F?
Just pick someone else from me, please.
Crickets. Cricket.
I guess I'll go first.
Thank you.
I'm gonna take.
You picked me first
Bueller.
I picked myself. Damon does a pretty good job playing this guy. After talking to him, I needed a shower.
Okay.
It also proves that Damon Mills is in fact actually a voice acting wizard who probably sold his soul to Satan.
I mean, you're not
he's
wrong.
He's a nice guy though, but he's a great guy. But I really feel like out of the three, he was kind of the best one of them. He was very much not what I was used to. Like I said, I needed a goddamn shower after I listened to talk to him.
Like he's
Alejandro,
a kind of greasy blood everywhere guy, right?
Yeah, he's the one where it's like, she only asked me to make a little bit of blood, but here, take this entire bottle full of fake blood for your trouble.
Yeah, slight context, the three detectives that are called in are also, like, they have kind of, like, positions in terms of production.
Yeah,
with Damon's character, I believe he was the props master.
He was.
I forget what Alejandro's was.
Alejandro was the assistant director.
But Alejandro was the assistant director.
And Sarah was
Misaki
was the PR rep.
PR,
yeah, she's basically what Andrew is.
What? Andrew's our PR person? Oh, we're in trouble now.
That's
it's either him or Sneebs, going by Sneebs' ability to hand out business cards.
I mean...
That's a good point.
I mean, Sneebs won AB by getting rid of all of our cards and then some.
Sneebs wormed his way into a fucking hotel room. I don't know how it worked, and it wasn't ours.
I owe that guy a drink next time I meet him.
I owe him a suplex.
I would pay good money to see that.
I would probably break.
All right, come here, Sneebs. Wait, hold on a second. Let me just
Sneebs is
I'm gonna suplex him. I'm gonna suplex him back across the border.
Oh my god. Anyway,
Alejandro does a good job playing Nakajo, who's kind of the big dumb meathead of the three. Which I've not. I guess I haven't watched a lot of shows where Alejandro is a big meathead because, fun fact, I'm not that far into Nanbaka.
You need to fix that,
and I need to fix it.
One, you need to fix that, and two, that's a terrible comparison. No. I'm not just saying you have to fix that, but two, that is a wrong comparison. I'll tell you why.
Okay, he's not a meathead. He's not the meathead.
Uno is not a meathead.
That was Jared Green.
You need to watch that show by, say it with me everyone, Happy fucking New Year!
God damn it.
We're not talking about Rico and Hyouka though, because he was in it.
That's the only line of the show I know, sorry.
Happy, just because every year since last year, there's only been one New Year since last year. God.
Our sense of time is thrown out of loop right now, guys.
I've been up since 5:30.
We went back in time to 2012 for the show anyway, so yeah, screw time.
Anyway, Megan.
Anyway, I think Alejandro did a decent job. I would say out of the three, he's maybe the weakest of them.
Okay.
But saying that he's weak in this show is not, like, necessarily a totally negative thing, because this is, again, an all-around really strong dub. Sarah as Misaki was something I actually didn't expect. Because mostly when I think of Sarah, we didn't have characters outside of Toru and her dragon-sized thirst.
D is for dragon!
D is for damn, Daniel! You better put that picture up when I do that.
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a picture of Toru that somebody posted on the Funimation Discord.
From Dragon Maid.
And you remember that old meme that's like, damn, Daniel?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about there.
And it's Toru doing that, and it goes, the D is for damn, Daniel. To which I would now really like Sarah Whedon have to do that in her Toru voice.
Wow.
But how is she as Misaki?
Great, actually, because I'm used to her playing Chihuahua humans. Like her character, Shiharu and Ruby. So her being kind of this snarky little bitch, like this snarky, excitable little bitch, because, face it, in the Valentine's Day episode, she's kind of a dick.
Yeah,
just a
little. You're right.
About not getting chocolates because she's a thirsty hoe who doesn't know how to put her hair up, and she made the Gordon Ramsay cry.
That cooking episode, my god.
The girl made the Gordon Ramsay cry.
Don't.
If that plate was any more burned, it'd be the Elric brothers' house.
Oh
god.
Oh no. Oh no.
I mean, that thing was so beaten. It looked like CL before he made the contract with Sebastian.
How many burn references can you make?
Oh boy. That thing was so charred, it looked like the Winchester's mom.
Okay, that's enough.
Anyway,
You're going for the
and
gold
then,
here.
Jade was very good as the kind of quiet secretary girl, but the standout performance in all of these people, and one of the most standout performances in the show, is Alexis Tipton as Irisu. Because when I think of Alexis Tipton, I think of characters like her character in Sakura Quest, like ChouCho, very upbeat, happy characters. And here is Irisu, who is a manipulative, conniving bitch.
Yeah.
But you have to admire that.
And it's so well done.
Like, remember the rules that she laid out for how to get what she wants.
Yeah, and here's the thing is that Alexis, her voice really captured that. Because I feel like if this character wasn't acted as well as it was, you could really lose that sense of how manipulative she is. And it's why when Oraki yells at her, that scene plays out so well, and it's honestly one of my favorites in the entire show. But I've talked way too much, and I'm gonna get back to that when we get to Oraki, so I'm gonna pass it on.
Okay.
Alright, you know what? I'll take second man. Alright, moving down the list. Yeah, Damon Mills. We're talking about him a lot this year, aren't we?
I mean, yes.
For good reason.
I mean, I can't complain. He's a voice acting wizard. Playing an old man in Yuri on Ice to something I actually can't talk about because we are talking about it later on. I really like that he's also now showing that he can play, like, the greasy, creepy dude. Just, like...
Yeah. I mean, and do it well, too, like, distinctly.
Yeah, do it very, very well and distinct.
Like, you guys said that you had kind of forgotten about the cast list while you were watching part of the show. Did you recognize that it was Damon when you heard the character?
Nope.
No, not at all.
I didn't recognize any of the three.
Not even Sarah?
Not even
I
Sarah.
can kind of recognize Sarah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really all that great with new Funimation dubs, so... Yeah.
Okay.
But, I like Alejandro as the meathead. I like Sarah Wiedenheft as sort of the bubbly and kind of has a conniving side to her later.
Nice.
I really
Oh,
didn't
bitch!
hear enough of Jade to have really an accurate impression of her. But, I do have kind of a weird complaint about Irisu. Because it's something I have a complaint about with other shows, and that's kind of using that theatrical, enunciating every word voice for, like, the mean girl character. For some reason, I'm just not a huge fan of that, because it just doesn't sound natural to me. I know you're trying to make them sound a little more sophisticated and all that, but it just doesn't come off as a way somebody would naturally speak. Even somebody of, higher social standing.
Do you think it would have more believability if this wasn't a character in high school? If she was, like, say,
maybe
in college?
a little. Maybe college when when she's maybe joins, like, the theater club and becomes a theater kid.
I can only imagine what this girl's going to be like when she gets out into the real world.
She's rich. She doesn't have to deal with that.
She's going to be president in a couple of years.
You mean prime minister? This is Japan.
No, I mean she will be the president of the world.
That's a terrifying thought.
Isn't it?
Yep.
Is it really though?
But she's going to fix our opioid problem, so it's all going to be good. And our movies are going to be good again, so we have nothing to worry about.
All right. Are you all set?
Yeah. I'm all set.
I'm about to say, I'll just steer this conversation
right.
back in here.
Yes, please.
So with Jade, her character, I'm gonna agree her character wasn't around long enough for me to get a sense of it, but I think she was fine with what she was given. The three detectives of this group, they each reminded me of a previous role somehow. So For some reason, Damon, his character reminded me of his character of Tsukigakure. Because I wanted to punch the motherfucker in the face. Because it was so good.
I was going to say, I can't say the other character it reminded me of. I'm only going to say the nickname we gave him on the Discord. So if you've watched the show and you watch this episode, you'll figure out who it is. It reminded me of Stripper Vicious. That's all I'll say.
I need context.
I will give it to you after recording.
I'm gonna need to learn later.
Pull the Joffrey.
Let's see. Alejandro actually reminded me of his meathead character from Honda-kun. That's where I'm thinking of Alejandro Saab as. And then Sarah reminded me of her character in Orange.
Oh, yeah.
That's what she reminded me of, but I haven't finished Orange, and I won't.
I need to actually get.
I'm not allowed to finish Orange.
It's a...
I'm actually barred from finishing Orange at this point.
But
First you gotta
I
finish
will...
Red, then you can finish Orange.
Stop it!
Get out of my fucking podcast.
You can't quit. You can't fire me. I quit.
No, but I can fucking fire you if I want to. Now sit down.
Yes, Mom.
But yeah, I can agree that all three of them did very well, and similar to Megan, out of the three of them, I think Alejandro is probably among one of the weaker performances, but only in a rather solid to strong dub, and saying he's probably one of the weaker performances isn't saying a lot, because the dub in general is rather good. I just have to be nitpicky somewhere. And then we have Alexis, whom I don't hear her play these kinds of characters that often or enough, in my opinion. And while I do see where it's coming from in terms of the manner of speaking and how it may come off in a different way than what you probably intended, I still do enjoy a performance.
Oh, absolutely.
Not only again because it's very different than what you normally see Alexis as, because 9 times out of 10 or 8 times out of 10 she's usually these peppy, energetic characters, and seeing her play something that's a bit more calm, cool and collected, a little bit manipulative, is very different.
A little bit.
Shut up.
A little bit.
Shut your face. Let me finish my words.
Hashtag Arisu did nothing wrong.
Let me finish my words. I enjoy her performance for what it is, because again, it's very different than what we're usually used to seeing her do, and it's one of those things where it's like I kind of wish you would play more roles like this, honestly. But yeah,
Really? You don't want to hear her be Satou from My Bride as a Mermaid more often?
I haven't seen My Bride as a Mermaid, so
Tisk.
I cannot say.
I haven't seen it either, so bite me.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
I
do
haven't
that.
either.
What's wrong with you? Okay, fine.
Apparently everything is wrong with us.
Everything is wrong with you. Actually, no, I'm not going to steal from everyone, because I really did like these characters, but I will agree with you all in that Alejandro's portrayal of Nakajo is the weakest, but I'm not going to chalk that up to bad acting. I'm actually going to chalk that up to they gave him, they forced some of the dramatic readings of his lines to the point that it sounded less believable as a high school student, and it kind of clashed with the tone that I think they were going for, because this whole arc is really weird in that the reason that they suck in the 4 main characters to quote-unquote solve the mystery of this is because their writer for this movie has come down sick, and they're not finished filming it yet. They haven't gotten an ending to it yet. But in the back of your mind as a viewer, you're thinking to yourself, well, why don't they just ask the writer? Like, she can't be so deathly sick that she can't tell them what the ending is supposed to be. So we got to go through these long multi-episode processes where the 3 other detective characters try to guess what the ending was supposed to be. Like, okay, did they go into the house, and who killed the character here? Or like, did she get hung out a window, or did someone jam a knife into her? Or what happened to the character? But putting that aside, yeah, the 3 detective characters, they fill their tropes pretty well. Alejandro's it's the weakest, but it's also a necessary bigger guyer character.
Evil. Yeah,
it's necessary. And yeah, Damon is absolutely glorious as the guy's like, nah, man, that ain't enough blood. We gotta get more blood, man. I've got more in my car.
Morty, we need more blood. Morty.
I've got more. this is how much a human bleeds. I know. I've got experience. Like that kind of character. It's good. It's good. And I'm kind of scared if we could get him to do that in other roles, meaning that someone else actually has shows with this character in it. But yeah, good job.
All I know is tonight we learned that Noah can do a creepy Morty or a creepy Rick impression.
Every Morty impression is
Like,
creepy.
David Mills' character is like a kid Christopher Lee.
It really is.
Like, you heard the story, right? About him on the set of The Lord of the Rings?
Not about him on the set. No. What did he do?
He had to give Peter Jackson a lecture on what a person sounds like when you stab them in the back, because he had to do that in World War II.
Oh, I forgot. I think someone did explain that to me.
Like,
No, Peter. Nah, Peter, this is what a motherfucker sounds like when you fucking stab him in the back. I'm Christopher Lee.
Why is Christopher Lee from Boston now?
like he's a bad
The guy's not even American. Wait, is he American?
Like,
I'm Mark Wahlberg. Go see
I forget.
Independence Day.
I forget.
The Departed.
I forget.
like,
The point is that Damon Dunn did good job.
right.
Okay, yeah, and Sarah, like I was saying earlier, she was the one who I instantly recognized was her. I think she's just been in cast a lot recently, so I can just catch her voice in whenever she's in something, and that's not a bad thing at all. I love how her character like comes up, gives a little salute, and goes like "Ciao," and just looking at her hair design, like you people,
She's KyoAni.
you viewers, look at that hair, look at that hair design.
There's so many places to grow.
That is a woman who has yet to come out of the 80s. We have got to let the 80s die, get her a normal hair job. Flock of Seagulls is not a hairstyle to be emulated. All right, let's speed this up a little bit. But yeah, so Sarah Dunn did good. The three mains did good. Jade, I was glad did as well as she did, because that particular role is a lot, like you guys said, she's a bit quieter. That could have been a bit of a boring role. That could have been like almost flat, uninteresting portrayal, but it's Jade Saxton. She knows how to do that quieter voice while still being interesting to listen to. So, yeah, it's kind of like an example of why Jade is one of the best in the business. She can take even a minor character and keep it from being boring. But, of course, we have to talk about the lead manipulator of the whole thing, Alexis Tipton. And I'm actually going to counter slightly your complaints about her overemphasizing anything. Not because she doesn't do it, because she does do that, but because she chooses to do it in different parts of the show. When she's talking to the characters as a group, and she's addressing them, she's got like this almost outward persona, like, I am a representative of the prestigious film club, and I'm going to speak to you as a higher elevated position who needs your help. But when we get her alone, and she's talking, she has scenes where she's talking directly to Oreki in the tea shop, which is weirdly directed, by the way. They have like really weirdly well-animated tea, but that's not the point. She drops the persona and she starts getting much more personal, like almost like a seductress, and starts talking about how I knew when I saw you that you were special. Only you are the one who can save this movie. You may think that you're normal, but you actually have something that no one else has, a special power to solve mysteries. We need your power! Like, really hamming it up there. And I like that she actually differentiates her acting style based on what she needs, which is exactly how a manipulator works. They change their persona based on who they're around and what they want to get. Yeah, so Alexis, I'm really proud of you on this one. You definitely made this arc, which, like, we can all admit was probably the weakest, was the hardest one to marathon. Definitely interesting. Every moment where she was on screen describing, like, you know, in any moment was really good. And I'm almost sorry that in the scenes where she's typing with the scriptwriter that they didn't actually dub that in and they just kept it as on-screen text only.
I don't think she was actually typing with the scriptwriter. I think she was actually typing to Tomoe.
Is that who it was?
Yeah, I think it's Tomoe.
The text was going by so quickly, I missed who she was talking to.
I think it's made to be purposely left ambiguous, but I will actually check for you.
It wasn't ambiguous. Like, you could tell what they were talking about, I just couldn't quite tell who she was talking to.
But the person who it's supposed to be.
Well, yeah, because the description, the usernames aren't the actual names of the people. Mm-hmm. I kind of wish they'd done the do-ra-ra-ra thing where they voice out their on-screen text.
Yeah.
But that's just me. So So yeah, to wrap this all up, frustrating to get through as an arc because if you even rub your brain together for 2 seconds, you realize that they're all being manipulated. But for all that, still really good acting performances all around.
Yeah. Anyway, to move on, the first arc of the show, the Hyouka arc, is essentially this. Eru Chitanda's uncle has been missing for a certain amount of time.
7 years.
And per Japanese, 7 years. So per Japanese law, he is officially dead.
I don't even think it's just Japanese, because you remember...
I think it's law.
In Batman Begins, they actually declared Bruce dead because they say he's been gone for 7 years.
I've never watched Batman Begins. I don't like...
What?
I've never watched him because I don't like Christopher Nolan.
Were you not a teenager in 2005?
I was like, what? 2005 was like, what, 12 years ago?
We're the exact same age, Megan. You were 15.
How old are you?
I was born in 1990.
Oh, yeah, so I was... Yeah, no, also, one, I was scared of the Batman movies back then. Two, I don't like Christopher Nolan movies.
Okay, fair.
But essentially, he's been declared dead, and Chitanda wants to remember a moment that her uncle said that was so powerful that it made her cry. And she got so upset that her mother came in. And she doesn't want to face her family until she realizes this at his funeral. So essentially, they go... And I believe also Hotaru's sister also asks them to find out what this is all about. So essentially, you eventually learn that Chitanda's uncle, Jun Sekitani, was a student at the school, and he was the first member of the literature club, and he wrote a story called Hyouka, which literally translates to frozen dessert, or in this translation, ice cream. Or a play on words called ice cream.
Ice cream.
You will never want to look at rabbits the same way again.
Yeah. Yeah, you thought Watership Down was bad. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
No. Actually, Watership Down is probably worse than
Yeah.
this, but essentially there are only two characters that we are going to talk about in this arc, and that is Itogawa Yoko, who is the librarian at the school, who was also a member of the literature club and wrote the foreword about Jun Sekitani and was there for, in fact, the events that unfolded, which were his expulsion as scapegoat. And the second character is, in fact, Tomoe Oriki, who is Oriki's older sister, who is never actually seen besides from her face, below her mouth down.
Well, we see her from the back of the head when she actually visits the school, but the point is that they go...
You never see her face.
Yeah, they go full nanny from Muppet Babies and never show her face.
Itogawa Yoko is played by Linda Young, and Tomoe Oriki is played by Caitlin Glass. Linda Young you'll know from series such as Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball Z, and My Bride is a Mermaid. And Caitlin Glass you'll know from series such as Full Metal Alchemist, Attack on Titan, and The Vision of Escaflowne. I guess I'll go first with these because I'm going to make this really quick. Linda Young was really great at her part of the story, playing an older woman, kind of looking at, I guess, a little bit the sins of her past, because she was part of the crowd that turned their back on Sekitani, that eventually led to him being expelled from high school, and why the whole series kind of gets to start in the first place, writing Hyouka, which is this kind of awful, horrible story. And to be fair, the Hyouka arc is the highlight of all the three major arcs in this series, and it's kind of awful that it's the first one in terms of placing and plot and placing.
It was...
But Linda Young did really well. I think that she did great. She played a really great older woman character. It's kind of great to hear Linda Young in things because you don't always hear her. And then Caitlin Glass as Tomoe, she really got this older sister trickster kind of mentor character. Because here's the thing with Tomoe, you don't get to see her body. You only have to go by her vocal performance.
That is incorrect. You see her body, you never see her face.
See her face.
The shower scene.
You never see her face, but you only see her body in very not center of frame type of things. She's not the focal point.
I don't quite know why they did that as the thing. Like, what was the purpose of making her so mysterious?
I think it was to kind of, like... She was kind of like this weird trickster mentor, I guess, to Oriki. I don't really understand her. But I did like Caitlin's performance a lot. I think she really got that older sister voice and that trickster kind of voice. And I honestly wouldn't mind getting to hear Caitlin Glass play another trickster-like character like this. It just sucks that Tomoe, after a while, kind of faded into the background.
Well, she's
I kind of wish she was in the show more than she was.
well, she was like not. She was never prevalent in the show. Like she seems to pop up.
But her presence was felt.
They make sure, like they've got a quota. Like we have to make sure that we insert her every 4 episodes or so.
I mean, that actually sounds accurate.
So, and I mean, yeah, she's like, I like how in one part of the Hyouka arc, they're actually they're kind of stuck, like they don't know where to go with the mystery, and then she calls up I'm blanking on names here, on Oreki, just calls him up, gives him a clue accidentally, and then's like, oh, I gotta go now, bye. It's like, the whole show would have just ended right there if she hadn't at that moment given a convenient clue to the mystery.
Yeah.
Deus Ex Machina. No, Deus Ex Tomoe.
Absolutely.
Deus Ex Tomoe.
Right. I guess I guess I'll go next.
Yeah, go
All
ahead.
right. So, yeah, Tomoe. It's the I've noticed this seems to be a trope. The trope of in anime, older sister character who happens to also be a globetrotter. Like we're seeing this more and more. Like we saw this with the bigger sister in Hero Man. We saw this with the big sister in Flying Witch. We saw this with the big sister now in Hyouka. It's like I don't know why that's such a prevalent characteristic, but you know what? I don't mind because Caitlyn played that really well. It's like the kind of older sister who's still finding her place in the world, not gonna settle down anytime soon. And you know what? That's okay because she's having fun and living life, and we enjoy watching her live life. So yeah, really good on Caitlyn. And as for Linda Young, it's a nice contrast to have one adult character, because I think this is the only adult character we're actually talking about in the show. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, and she gets, the big moment she gets is, she gets to speak, like, almost a monologue about, basically describing what happened to, Era's uncle all those years ago. And this is, like, after episodes and episodes upon theorizing what had happened to him. So her naturally, it's not really husky, it's more like a silky older woman voice, comes through really well, and it's a nice contrast to all the high school age characters that we've been hearing up to that point. I can't criticize it, really. It's an archetype that works well, and both of them do their jobs well. I wish I had Caitlyn Glass as my own older sister. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Take it away, Dr. Roots.
Alright, yeah. I really did like Caitlyn Glass's sort of the playful trickster older sister. But, in particular, Linda Young? Yeah, that's a name I haven't heard in a long, long time. which I'm really glad to see, because she's, like, one of those voices from the early Funimation days.
Lord Frieza!
I really missed hearing her in things, because she kind of disappeared for a little while.
I don't know about that.
I personally haven't heard her in, like, many, many years. But then again, I'm not
that's because
great with new Funimation dubs, so I may be wrong on this.
That's because none of you watch My Bride is a Mermaid.
That's not a new Funimation dub, Noah.
No, but it's new. It's newer than Dragon Ball Z and Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, well,
Point still stands.
It's probably a better show than Dragon Ball Z.
I mean, you're not wrong.
We could get into it, but no, we won't get into it.
But I really like that monologue where she tells the story about
Sekitani.
Yeah, about Sekitani and his expulsion and all that.
Honestly, if you only want to watch 5 episodes of Hyouka, just stop like right after that, because it's honestly, if you want to see some peak ass animation,
that is some gorgeous animation right there.
The whole show has some gorgeous animation.
You're not wrong,
Sakuga.
but those first few episodes are just magnificent.
All right, so just to push things along, I'll move things over to Lilac.
I'm sorry.
Let's
I'm bad.
see.
You think they both sucked, right?
No.
They suck.
They're the worst things in the world.
They
No.
suck on eggs.
Worst voice acting ever.
No. Legit though, I did enjoy both of them. I'm kind of in Camp Noah where I wish Caitlyn Glass was my older sister.
We can share.
She plays the spunky, energetic, and rather lively older sister, despite not us ever seeing her face, which is the depressing part. But
Show us the goods, Kyo Annie.
come on, Kira, let's go. But I really liked Caitlyn as Tomoe being this counteractive point and this contrast to Oriki, who is, let's face it, he's a lazy good for nothing. Let's face it. But Caitlyn plays a wonderful contrast to Oriki, and then Linda Young, as one of the few adults that we hear in the show, who has an interesting presence in the show. I think she did a phenomenal job. She not only played this mentor figure rather well, but I also have to admit that her recounting the story on top of the animation and the writing for the show. I think it was very well done. Just that whole combination, I think her retelling that story is probably the high point for Linda Young's performance in this show. Yeah, both of them are really good. I like them both.
Yeah.
Alright, so are we good to move on?
Yes.
I think that's all the characters. I don't think there's any more characters in the cast to
Nice
talk about.
We
try.
just have 4 to go.
Nice try.
Nice try. Nice try, you lazy
I've
bum.
got I got a cheesecake in the oven that you'll eat.
I'm
At
pretty
10
sure
at
you
night?
put something in it.
Let's
Let
chip
it
all that-
burn,
all your
just like the
cheesecake
Elric's
burn.
house.
It's chocolate chip.
May all your cheesecake burn.
You are not invited to my
All your
birthday.
bacon burn.
Don't forget, you're here forever.
Anyway, moving on to Best Girl. Fight me.
You're not wrong.
Mayuka Ibara.
You're not wrong.
Mayuka Ibara is a member of the classic lit. Wow, I called them the Light Novel Club.
No,
Yeah,
they're classy.
yeah,
They are a classy establishment.
You smacking yourself right now?
No!
Megan, come back.
I slobbered up myself.
Oh.
I mean, she's
Good
good girl,
job.
but she's not that good.
Whoa.
Whoa! First of all, I do not want a trip to the Taco Bell tonight. Second,
Hey, buddy!
We're going.
Second of all, that first
anyway,
ending-
Ibara. Anyway, besides that, Ibara prefers Satoshi's hot dog.
Whoa.
Stop it! They're high schoolers. Let them be.
You walked into that. She made him Valentine's chocolate. That basically means they're married in anime terms. Anyway, Ibra is a member of the Classic Lit Club as well as the Manga Club. She is the straight man to kind of everybody's bullshit next to Oriki, and she's kind of the down-to-earth person. If you do the 4 temperaments ensemble, she's the cleric, and she's the cynic, and I believe when they did the tarot card motifs, she is the justice, which is connection to objectivity, desire for truth, reflecting Mayaka's own personality and position. So Mayaka is played by Jill Harris, who you can hear in series such as Brave Witches, Overlord, and she's some D-, she's some like F- tier waifu named Hifumi or some shit, new game.
I mean,
Megan, that Mike McFarlane truck is going to be pulling up right outside your house as soon as we're done recording, just so you know.
No.
Correction, if I'm insulting New Game openly, we all know that
I was gonna say, if she's insulting New Game, if she's insulting New Game,
No, I'm sorry!
it's Cliff who's gonna be rolling up here in a second.
Before this episode came out! I'm sorry, Mr. Chapin, I'm sorry!
New game
And we never heard from Megan again.
Well,
So,
I suppose we're gonna
Jill
keep-
Harris is Ibra.
Yeah, take it away.
Nope, you're done for.
Living the roof just like she did in Attack on Titan!
Noah, did you want to go first with your thoughts on Jill as Ibra?
Well, I might as well do that just to keep the conversation going.
Yeah, because Megan's not going to be here anymore. Cliff
That's
kind
okay.
of took care
alright.
of that.
A moment of silence for Megan. All right, that's enough.
I'm still
So
here!
Jill Harris had a bit of an unprecedented challenge going into this, not being the manic one, not being the other manic one, and not being the serious one either, which she could totally do because we've seen her do that before. But going into something I don't think I've quite heard her do before, and that is the serious portrayal. And this is another one of those roles where it could be done very drab and dry and uninteresting, but Jill has a very enthusiastic, natural speaking voice to it that she manages to pull off her lines without being annoying or, for lack of a better term, bitchy about it, which I was really glad about, because when we first meet her, we're introduced to her as the librarian who hates Oreki. And so I thought, oh great, so she's going to be like another one of those tsundere characters who just acts like she's angry all the time, but she secretly makes chocolate for everyone at the end of the day. But no, she's got a lot of layers on her. I can really relate to her because I don't know if you've seen the character sheet model sheets of these characters, but she is tiny. She is really, really short, like even by girl anime character standards. And as someone who was also like the shortest person of all the way through now, that you do get a sense of being like a little on edge all the time when you're trying to have people take you seriously, and they don't because of your height sometimes. So Jill playing that, all the flavors of Ibara, I really bought all of it, and I can't think of like one particular line that was like the best of the best, but just throughout the whole thing, and probably the part with talking about the manga club and the relevance of manga criticism was where we see her shine the most. Like, and it's also where she's looking in her room trying to find the copy of what was that manga called?
A Corpse by Evening.
What was it?
Corpse by Evening.
Corpse by Evening, thank you. You get to see her full range of youthful enthusiasm for something that obviously means quite a bit to her, and that's refreshing to see. Like, the whole main cast, we get to see different flavors of believable high school characters. So, I love Jill already. Like, this year has been a great year for Jill, so I'm really glad that she got another good leading role out of this. Now, someone dissent and say that they did not like this nearly as much.
I ain't gonna do that.
Okay.
Cause Jill is lovely. She's a lovely human being, and she has a fantastic performance here. Cause with Jill, I think Ibara is one of the few times where I see Jill playing a rather spunky, outspoken character. Because a lot of Jill's roles that I've seen up until this point... Sakura Quest! I'm gonna ignore the dying person in the corner over there.
We got... It's okay, I've got another Megan in the closet. We'll get her out at the end of the show.
Okay, cool. I mean...
Dying Megan, let Lilac speak.
Let me speak, because I'm tired and I want to go to bed today. It's very rare. Because Jill has played a lot more of the innocent, quiet characters more than she has these spunky, outspoken ones with like a little bit of an attitude. And Ibara is very interesting not only in that regard, but, and this kind of goes all around with the four main characters in general, she bounces off these other characters very well, especially with Satoshi, of course, because her back and forth with Satoshi, and because we're going to get to him in a minute, I think it's some of the best back and forth of the entire show. And it's just so much fun the way that Jill and Satoshi's voice actor get to talk to each other and converse, and basically it's either a mix of fighting or snarky banter or I wanna be your significant other kind of stuff.
They're an old married couple.
They pick up like an old married couple. It's great. It's basically a lot of those personality traits that Ibara has, Jill is able to pull them off phenomenally. Whether it's her skepticism to her curiosity whenever she gets like dragged into stuff by Chitanda, I think Jill just played all of those fun personality traits of Ibara very well, and I enjoyed the performance.
Well, okay, there wasn't our dissenter, so Roots, can you dissent and say anything that went wrong with this performance?
Nope.
Damn.
Woo!
I actually really liked it. I liked her banter with Satoshi and Chitanda. I like the early kind of rivalry she had with Oreki that kind of smoothed out over the course of the show. And I gotta say though, I'm gonna dissent with Megan because I already know her opinion of Ibura's defining scene, but it's in the second to last episode.
Yes!
The Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day!
Yeah, so probably just a little background. If you haven't watched the show yet, the show goes through the 3 arcs that we talked about, but that still leaves 4 episodes, I think, at the end. And those are all
4 or 5.
4 or 5 standalone episodes that aren't connected to a larger arc. That's where we start to get more character development because it focused pretty primarily on just the main 4. The second to last episode, the Valentine's episode, oh my god, so much high school angst.
Yep.
We're
Damn it, Satoshi!
I mean,
Why do you do this to me? Satoshi, no. Satoshi, no.
He will get his... We'll rake him over the coals in a bit.
but
Satoshi, bad Satoshi.
like it. Her defining scene is where she's basically telling Chitanda she basically knew that Satoshi stole the chocolate she had meant to give to him, and there's more to that scene that we'll get to when we talk to Satoshi, but it's just that kind of heartbreak that you can really hear in it.
Literal heartbreak.
Oh,
Don't do that,
no.
Noah. Don't do that to me.
No, Noah, no.
It's funny
Noah,
because-
no.
No.
Literal break.
Noah.
Noah,
I'm coming back
stop
from
it.
the dead to tell you to shut up.
Oh, hi, Megan. How was death?
Honestly, I almost cried watching parts of Jill being Ibura. Like, I straight up almost actually cried during the manga scene. Because I've been that person, and I still kind of am that person that Ibura was.
The kind who defies people who think there's no merit into the medium.
Yeah, and I feel like Ibura really did speak to me, and honestly, Jill Harris as Ibura is one of the best performances I've heard on a home video release this year.
Woohoo!
I know, yay, look at me spoiling one of my potential W's, but fuck it, I don't know when the hell this is coming out. But she really nailed, I think, what the spirit of the character of Ibura is. And I know I said for this I would bring up kind of some of the Seiyu who did Hyouka back about 5 years ago, just to show you who would play these characters 5 years ago. Ibura is where the hell did Ibura go on here? Are you Ibura?
Are you Ibura? Are you my mommy?
Yeah. Are you my mommy? No, Ibura is played by Aya Kanayo, who is Itsuwa in A Certain Magical Index. And funny that I say this to Noah and Lilac, because she was Menma.
Oh god, don't remind me.
Oh no!
She was Menma in the Japanese.
No!
Full disclaimer to everyone.
Mayaka is Menma.
We are recording the Anohana episode tomorrow. None of us are going to survive that.
No, it's gonna get heavy real fast, and we discovered this earlier today. We're like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm not on it.
But yeah, no.
I'm not.
We're
on
not on it.
Good
No,
for
you guys.
you.
We're not going to spoil it for you, but you have no idea. But okay, what is so?
I'm gonna I've never seen Anohana, and I actually plan on
Yeah, same
watching
here.
it when I'm home alone.
Don't
Buzz
do
it,
it.
you have to.
Don't do it unless you've gotten a raise, been proposed to, and killed your mortal enemy. That you're just that happy.
What?
Well, what?
Don't
Okay,
watch
okay.
something.
But I'd
forgot-
get arrested for that.
Okay, if you
anyway.
kill your mortal
No.
enemy and get away with it, I'm sorry, I should have
Oh
specified.
my god.
This isn't Danganronpa. I can't pull that shit.
Not with that
But
attitude.
no, I think shut.
And it all comes full circle.
You can't marry your body pillow.
Not with that attitude. But no, I think she nailed the spirit of Ibura. And that's, I think, one of the most essential things you can do as somebody who is a dub actor. Because I don't expect her to sound like the Seiyu at all. I mean, she can sound close, but she's not going to replicate that voice one for one. But I think she honestly nailed Mayaka where it counts. She nailed Mayaka's passion. She nailed Mayaka's heartbreak. She nailed Mayaka's kind of weird, odd callousness towards Oriki. But at the same time, she also nailed when Mayuka backs off Oriki during the film. Because when she realizes that he fucked up the ending, she doesn't press on with it like another tsundere character would. She immediately drops it. So I really, really appreciate Jill Harris playing this character, and I honestly don't think I could imagine anybody else doing it. But everyone, we've talked so long about Mayuka and Jill that I'm gonna wrap it up so that we can move on to Satoshi Fukube.
My spirit
Satoshi.
animal.
Oh, Satoshi, you little asshole.
Yeah, we kind of discovered...
the human database. He's a human database.
Human database.
Yeah.
And fun fact, I will say this afterwards. But my thing is this. Fukube is the human database. He is the jack of all trades, master of none. But he's also deeply repressing his desire to be obsessive and win in fact, his love of Ibara, because he doesn't want to be fixated on her for his entire life.
Yep.
And ruin that chance with her. But voicing Satoshi Fukube is one Dallas Reed.
Yay!
To which, fun fact, out of all of my predictions, the few predictions I actually did for Hyouka, this was the only one I got right.
Oh, ta-da!
Okay,
Yeah,
gold
by
stars.
the way, my Ibara predictions were Jeannie and Felicia. But I'm kind of happy I was
Wrong!
But Dallas Reed, you can hear him in shows such as Token Ranbu Hanamaru, Noragami Argoto, Roots Plug Your Ears. He's also in that Neto J show.
I wanna die.
So I'll go first since I think Noah should talk about his Patronus last.
Patronus.
How many references are you gonna make in this episode?
All of
Spirit
them.
animal is not a term you should use, but anyway. But I think Dallas Reed fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
Because Fukube could be a character that is fucking obnoxious if not played right. And honestly, this is again, like Jill Harris, a showing of how the fuck far Dallas has gone as an actor. Especially for voice acting. Because no offense, Dallas used to be the bad harem lead guy.
Yeah.
And I honestly felt bad for him. Because I always felt he was better than those shows. Deserved. And Fukube is a character I think that he got to show off his chops more than a certain other show that is airing that I will not say does. And if you have not watched Dallas Reed in Hyouka, where he gets to play manic, upbeat, hiding, happy clown, but doctor, I am Pudicelli, or whatever the fuck that Watchmen reference is. I've probably just made every Watchmen fan, want to murder.
I don't even know how you jumped to that.
My aunt is actually a diehard Watchmen fan, and has been since the comics came out in the 70s.
You have a very weird family, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, we know that. One of my cousins is a bassist in a metal band.
Yeah.
We've gone over
Yeah,
that.
I know. We've gone over all your weird relatives, like how you're... Okay, yeah, we'll talk...
But no, and even then to kind of just jump into some of the other, his Seiyu Daisuke Sakaguchi, who's played Fukube, some of the other characters that, actors who have been matched up to him in English, he was also Japanese Jacuzzi, so that means Joel McDonald has done him. He was Leonardo Watch in BBB, which means that Aaron Dismuke could have been a choice if they were going for Seiyu to Seiyu. He was Sota Tamadate in Guilty Crown. He was Yuji Nakata in Bamboo Blade. He's, Mishima doesn't count because that's a video game. But I feel like Dallas really got to show off how much of an actor he is and how many complexities he can get across in his voice. Because, no offense, if you've been sleeping on Dallas Reed, you're kind of a moron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause let's face it, Satoshi has probably some of the most interesting character development in the entire show, to be perfectly honest. And especially because it really comes into fruition with that second to last episode, the Valentine's Day episode, where because you could tell something has been brewing with him for like several episodes, and now he's finally talking to Otaki about it. And this is the point where he's saying, I don't want to be obsessed with Ibara and revert to my old ways now. This isn't what I want to do. I don't know what I'm going to do. And that confrontation with Otaki on the bridge, I think, personally, I think that's probably the culmination of Dallas's performance as Satoshi as a whole. Like, that one scene that they had, I was like, this is beautiful. Dallas nailed it. Satoshi is a snarky jagoff, but like Megan was saying, it's not annoying because it could easily be played annoying if it went that way. I think that it is perfect. I love it. I'm done. I quit. I'm out.
You can't quit. There's 2 more characters to go.
Well, you're right. I still gotta talk about Otaki. My one reason for being here.
My one true love,
My one true love, Otaki.
Roots, tell us what Dallas Reed did that was even more awesome than what Lilac just said.
Yeah, mainly, I like that he was kind of the Joker pretty much the entire series. He kind of lays out the clues that, you know, he is okay with his mediocrity. And then the Valentine's Day episode hits. Where he kind of explains...
Like a fucking freight train.
Heartbreak.
Where he has to explain why he's rejecting his own feelings. And it's absolutely heartbreaking. And I can't see anybody else do it any better than Dallas did. I mean, maybe the Japanese was something equivalent, but it ended up being something special.
Okay. I didn't want to step on anyone's feet there because I really can't say anything more than all you people have said because you're all accurate. All I will say is that I feel like Dallas gets this character a little too well. Like, you almost think he'd had experience being this character because, we kind of figured out amongst the 4 of us that all of us kind of represent one of the characters really well. Lilac and Megan they're kind of both Ibara, and I am so Satoshi. Like, let me go down the list of things that we're like. We both love cooking. We're both really love non-important facts, make ourselves human databases. I also was in a lot of different activities in high school. Very much a jack of all trades, not really being a master of any of them. But I was okay with that because I just enjoyed doing everything. Like, he has lines about how he likes to stay sunny regardless of his circumstances. But it's all kind of almost masking something. It is almost therapy hiding the realization that you will have to move on someday. And that is something that I also had to deal with in high school, in being, this does not last. Like, you like living in this comfort zone of getting to live life, going to school with friends, having adventures, because very much what these characters go through with the mysteries they solve are their own little adventures. But moving past that is difficult. That's maturity, and that's difficult to do. And it's kind of especially hard if you like being the joking character who gets his laughs from everyday activities. So Dallas portraying this in a voice that's very different from Oreki, which is good because they not only contrast each other personality-wise, but also voice. Like, Dallas gives him almost a bit of a drawl, it sounded like Satoshi had almost more of a drawl in his voice than Oreki did. Definitely brought out the funner, jokier personality to him. And I can't really criticize anything about this. It was the ideal casting of this with a Joker with layers to it. Not just a no personality character, but a complex high schooler who is both fun to be around and also kind of a flaky person because he doesn't get the anthology typed up in time. He almost doesn't get it in time. He bails out on some of his responsibilities. He doesn't go to studying. And like you guys pointed out, worst of all,
he gets dressed up as a giant Saturn.
And that doesn't bug him. That does not bug him. He's totally fine with going around promoting it's the astrology club, is it? Or is he just doing it for fun?
I think it's like the handicrafts.
Yeah, it was
club.
like arts and crafts club or
kind
something.
of see,
I forget.
like, I think you kind of see a kind of a chink in his armor of all things is when he's dealing with Micah's character.
I just realized now, the first ending finally makes sense. The whole astrology Polaris thing, it was all a reference to his Saturn costume.
No, that
Get
no,
out.
that first ending just
Get out.
is garbage.
No.
Second
Yeah, the
ending
first
is
ending
best
to the show
ending.
was kind of fucking
I'm
awful.
twirling
Second
my
ending is
mustache.
best ending.
It's too complex for you. See the various constellations and the two girls who really need to put some
You
clothes
know
on.
what? I'm gonna kick you in your tiny dick.
I mean, let's face it, second ending is best ending, so
I'm not going to
fuck you, fight
disagree
me.
with you. No,
I'm
I'm
about
not
to say, fuck you, fight me.
well,
'Cause
later.
The second
Well,
ending is adorable.
Jenny!
whatever
Whatever you do, don't give him the sex.
Megan, you are a bad influence. All you audience members, don't listen to Megan, ever.
Jenny, whatever you do, don't let Noah have sex tonight.
Megan, I thought we were friends.
We're friends until you make bad jokes.
Which is just like Satoshi, because he does that too. He also loves to make bad jokes.
And Satoshi doesn't deserve the sex.
No, he really doesn't. Like I said, I kind of relate to this character a little too much.
So you also relate to the fact that you don't need the sex.
That's not the point.
Footloose and fancy free.
Can we not talk about this anymore?
Fun and Fancy Free is an awful Disney movie. It really needs to be criticized much more.
It's a
Back on
Muppet movie
Satoshi.
marathon, you motherfucker.
But Fun and Fancy Free came before that.
Back on Satoshi!
Oh yeah, so
Satoshi would be a good Muppet.
I think we said all we can about Satoshi. Really good casting, and I think we all really like his arc throughout the entire show, going from the guy who you think is fun and fancy free, and find out he's got some layers to him that it's kind of fun to watch.
Like an
peel back.
ogre.
Like an ogre.
Donkey! Let's talk about Eruchitanda Donkey!
No.
Where the hell did that come from?
We're talking about ogres and
No,
layers!
we're not!
Somebody once told me Chitanda's curiosity's gonna roll me. Oreki is the sharpest tool in the
Okay,
shed.
Megan, I just got a message from Chris Farley. He is actually going to be coming back from the dead to curb stomp your ass.
Only if he does it in the Chippendales outfit. If he brings Patrick Swayze with him.
Stop it! Can we please?
Okay.
I want to go to bed tonight. Can we please?
Yeah, I'm
Show
not
me
starting
the
get
way to
kind of
go
sleepy now.
home. I'm tired and I want to go to bed. Let's talk about Eruchitanda.
Best girl.
No.
That's not how you spell Mayaka. Or say Mayaka. She is she is part of the famous Farmin Chitandas, and she is here to curiosity the shit out of Oreki.
You're not wrong.
So, Eruchitanda is played by one Miss Madeline Morris, who you've heard in series such as Brave Witches, The Love Tyrant, and 3 Leaves, 3 Colors, because I refuse to ever bring up that show again, Dave!
Dave.
Dave!
What?
You didn't suffer like
3
we
Leaves,
did.
3 Colors does not exist.
No, 3 Leaves, 3 Colors can exist. There's another show that doesn't exist that Madeline Morris was in.
Dave. Dave.
It's Dave.
Can you help me out here, guys?
7 Mortal Sins.
It's
Oh,
damn it!
oh, okay.
Damn it, Roots!
Okay.
You got to give some help here. I don't think me and Lilac have seen it yet.
Don't.
You don't ever need to.
Well, now I do. Now that you've told us to, not to.
No, do yourself a favor.
No.
Every time you tell us not to watch something, it just makes us want to watch it even more.
Noah, you'll hate yourself after. More than you already
Shut
did.
up!
Madeline Morris as Chitanda, she is matched to Satomi Saito in the Japanese, who a lot of us would know as, she was Kanzaki, who's Leah Clark's character in Assassination Classroom, but I think a lot of us know her as Ritsu Tanika from K-On!
I know nothing about Kayano,
No.
so the answer is going to be no.
Good, you don't need to know anything about
Riyū is the
K-On!
one who looks like a chipmunk.
Don't they all look like chipmunks?
Yes! Yes, they
Yeah.
do.
Things are fun.
Anyway, I'll start first. Out of the 4, I would say that Chitanda is the weakest. That being said, this is not a bad performance. Far from it. A lot of people, I know specifically ANN, wasn't really super fond, despite giving the dub, I believe, an A grade for their particular reviewers. Madeline really got a lot of what the spirit of Chitanda is. But it does, one of the things I think some people would criticize this as bad is that when Chitanda talks, it kind of sounds like Madeline's taking a lot of breaths. But that's because if you know somebody who talks really fast like me, you'll notice that I take a lot of breaths when I talk. Because when you're talking faster than your brain is working, you kind of don't get time to think, to sit and breathe.
Yep.
So, I mean, you can kind of hear how I'm talking. So if you can imagine when Chitanda is very curious, Oreki, we have to go figure out this mystery, Oreki, we have to go, that it really does fit that she talks that fast. And originally, when I started the show, I thought that was kind of a downward thing. But then I realized, oh my god, I talk as fast as this girl when I get really excited or really into something, sort of like what I'm doing now, for kind of a bit. But if you've talked to me in real life outside of a con, you know that I can go on for days and days about things.
You think?
Kind of like right now.
That's what the joke is, guys.
But we have a
I
timetable.
love you. I love you, but I'm tired.
We got a train to catch.
Anyway, go ahead, Lila.
I can go? Okay, I didn't know you were done.
Well, I'm going to be done because we've been here for a while, but I honestly do think that Madeline did a really good job, and especially considered against Jill, Dallas, and whoever, and the gentleman who is playing Oreki. I believe she is probably the newest.
Yeah.
I think
person?
you would be correct in that assumption.
I've definitely heard her in the least amount of things.
More new people. Because, again, my first experience with Madeline Morris is in a show, a train wreck disguised as a show called Zeta the Last Witch. Which, this is a long way from what her performance was in Izetta.
And I guess that kind of brings me into my thoughts, because my first experience with Madeline Morris was also Izetta the Last Witch. But then I was okay with her at that point. But then I got to see her in Alice in Zeroku. And I think the character she plays in Alice in Zeroku, because her character there is kind of like the nerdy kind of programmer kind of girl. I felt that was probably more suited for her range compared to, I think, what was it, Bianca in Izetta?
I forget. I just called her the one who has a crush on, what's her name?
The lesbian.
I was referring to Bianca in Izetta, not Alice in Zeroku. But Alice in Zeroku is much more, I think, in a better range and a better character type compared to Izetta, though to be fair, that show is also a train wreck, so it's not real well written to begin with. I feel like if the writing was better, maybe Madeline would have a better shot with the character, but that's not her fault, that's the show's fault.
The more we forget Izetta, the better.
Well,
she's the bad witch, right? Bianca?
No, Bianca?
No, only
No.
bad witches are ugly.
No, Bianca was the guard person.
Oh, okay.
Who was watching over Izetta. But going from Alice in Zeroku to Hyouka, so now we're basically going on like a full like leading role status here. I really enjoyed it. Seeing the progression of her range and the versatility in Madeline and her performances and her characters is very nice to me. I do enjoy that, and I have to commend her for that. And Megan, I have to agree with Megan too. At first, it just seemed really breathy, but when you put into perspective for a person who tends to talk a lot and very fast, and with Chitanda's personality being of a very curious mind, it just makes a lot of sense for her to just end up very breathy, because she's just throwing these, she's basically vomiting words and thoughts in a sense. There's no other way to put it. She's just vomiting thoughts.
She's dignified about it, but yeah, she's
dignified. But yes, and I think she also pulls off Chitanda's innocence and that distinct curiosity very well. And she's also very compassionate towards her friends, especially you see that. I think one of the stronger moments that she got to do that with is the Valentine's Day episode.
And also the Doll Festival.
Especially the Doll Festival.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like personally I mean compassion towards her friends, and more specifically the Valentine's Day episode.
Well, her compassion in the Doll Festival is for the entire district that she lives in.
No, but I'm referring to, like, you know how she's freaking the hell out and she wants to find this chocolate so that way Satoshi gets it, and then Mayaka can finally, like, be a bit happy about it. You know what I mean? That whole thing where she was just so determined to find that chocolate no matter what. Like, that kind of compassion and, like, determination, she really pulls it off with Chitanda, and I just really enjoyed it overall. And again, it's a great progression from where I originally started seeing Madeline to where she is now, and I think it's really, really great.
It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I had to go through her cast list because I didn't see Azeta, but I recognized her as she plays Hotaru in New Game, the blonde-haired girl who's friends with Alba and Nene, who goes to France.
You right. I forgot about that, but that character's not really in there very much.
No, she's not, but it's something I've heard recently. But that's not important to the discussion, because the main discussion is, how does she do with this role? And you are all right about her breathiness. I actually got through the first couple episodes, and the note I wrote about her performance in English was, it feels like she's almost putting on a facade, this higher-pitched, enthusiastic voice that's always, I suppose, it feels like it's pitched up higher than her normal speaking voice. And when we get to the end of the series, we find out that's not really accurate, but we also find out that she does not want to go beyond high school, or she doesn't want to go beyond the town as it is. Like, she's kind of figured out that what she does is she's a good mediator, she is a good coordinator of people to get stuff done for the greater good of all. And that is very much her role in the whole show. She is the one who instigates them getting involved in all the mysteries, which is very important because our main character does not want to get involved in everything. So Madeline's enthusiasm is kind of like an impenetrable force field of optimism that is necessary to get everything done in the show. I had not really much of a problem with the way that Madeline voiced the character, or really the acting, because it handles both sides of the personality pretty well. One thing I found in an interview was the art director said that they made a conscientious effort to distinguish the animation on her between her normal speaking roles and then when she gets all, Oreki, how did this happen? I have to know! Which becomes like her catchphrase throughout the series.
Yeah.
And so
it's adorable.
It is quite adorable.
Her
and she
eyes
has
get
the
all
most
sparkly and
We go into Sakuga
the
Town.
most adorable bright purple eyes, which is one element of the art that I caught on, was everyone's got like a bright ass eye color that's like really distinct. You got bright magenta for Miyaki, you got hazel orange for Satoshi, and you got the
Mayaka, you mean?
Mayaka.
You mean
Did I say
Mayaka?
it? Yeah,
You said Miyaka or
Miyaka.
something.
I dropped a syllable because it's late at night.
No excuses.
Okay, fine. So yeah, so
Speak English.
okay. Wo sprechen Sie Deutsch?
we're in
Damn it.
Eagle Town.
Jesus
Speak
Christ.
English.
President Roots demands you speak English in
Please
Eagle
don't
Town.
shoot me, Senor. Please don't shoot me.
Oh, god damn it.
Okay, now we're getting
Stop it.
racist.
Yeah.
Please,
I'm
let's
half
not.
Mexican. I'm allowed to say that.
No, you're not.
that's
That's
right,
gonna
I
make it
forgot.
worse.
Yeah, actually, I am, Lilac.
No, you're just gonna make it worse. Now stop.
Well, yes, I am, but that's why I exist. But I'm not. I'm also here to say that Madeline had all the enthusiasm we needed for this, and it was refreshing to have a newer voice, or at least a less familiar voice to voice the character, because it made this definitively her Eru, and no one else is ever going to be able to take that away from her for the rest of her voice acting career. So, President Roots, please give us the presidential decree of approval.
Well, as your president, I do declare Like,
I declare.
Like, I largely agree with you guys, though I have to say that the arc that defines Chitanda and Madeline Morris as Chitanda is the Hyouka arc.
Yes. Absolutely.
Like, that is the crowning achievement of Madeline Morris's Chitanda, with a close second being the Valentine's Day episode. Like, that was a strong episode for just about everybody in general.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we held that same reaction while watching it. We were all like, damn, this is a good Valentine's episode.
Yeah.
That episode hits like a fucking freight train.
But I really liked her voice. It really didn't take a lot of getting used to. Maybe because I hadn't even seen, like, even a clip of the show in Japanese. It felt kind of natural to the character.
So yeah. So
yeah.
Here's to hearing more Madeline and more shows.
Here, here.
Woohoo! And now the reason why I'm here.
The reason why Lilac's fucking
Yeah.
here.
Yay! I've been waiting for this.
Hotaru Oreki.
Nosebleed.
I'm so excited.
Oh, Hotaru.
I do declare.
I'm gonna punch
I'm
you. Shut
very
your
curious
face.
about you, Hotaru.
Wait, how did I get into an anime, though?
Honestly, yeah, Roots is our Hotaru in a nutshell. So Hotaru Oreki is our main character who doesn't like to expend a lot of energy and kind of gets roped into all of this because of his damn sister. And then obviously he becomes unable to say no to Chitanda because he develops feelings for her and stuff and shit and things. But before I say who plays this in English, just because we were kind of doing this, he's played by Yuichi Nakamura in the Japanese, and some other roles that Junichi Nakamura has played, especially in things. Oh, shut your whore mouth and be patient. He's played characters like Grateful Buster and Fairy Tail, a role that I think it's Noonan Pittman. Newton Pittman's played. He's played Gurren Ichinose in Seraph of the End, which is a role that Dave Trosko has played. He has played characters such as Dodichin in Durarara. He's a loser in Dimension W, who I believe is a J. Michael Tatum character.
Loser.
I can't believe I remembered that. We all drink to forget Dimension W
you're
exists.
right.
He's Renji, he's Yomu in Tokyo Ghoul, which is Aaron Roberts, Ronaldo in 91 Days. He's Matt Mercer's fucking character in Fire Emblem Fates.
You've been watching a lot of
he's a
cartoons
character that
recently.
Fire Emblem Fates is a video game, you ignorant.
What's a video game?
What's a video game? I don't know.
Video game.
I don't know, Noah. How about that Pac-Man
But,
game that you played at MagFest one time?
He's also ventured into some Sentai shit, something called Monthly Girls Nozaki.
Oh, hey, what up?
He was Umetaro Nozaki, wrong Gib. Spoiler alert, it is Adam Gibbs.
Hey!
I was like, wrong Gibbs! Wrong Gibbs!
Besides, also, you were saying he was
Yay.
Nozaki? That's Ty, you ding-dong.
That's Ty Mahaney. I was saying...
You were thinking Miko Shiba, weren't you? You're thinking Miko Shiba,
No, that's
Scott.
He's not Miko Shiba, that's Scott.
You said you were saying that it's the other Gib.
Let's just say that they're both
That's what I meant!
both very Gib
Shut
and
up.
move on.
God damn it.
Shut your whore
I
mouth.
will not shut my whore mouth, because this is the one
shut your whore
Look, you both-
reason why I'm here, damn it.
You all have the night fever, and all of you need to go shadow dancing.
I need to go to bed is what I need. I need to go to bed is what I need right now.
Anyway, Adam Gibbs! Beyond the fucking boundary. He's in Parasite the Maximum, and he's in Noah's favorite anime ever made, Dramatic Murder.
I don't have words to describe my hatred for you at this point.
Now, I'm just
Anyway.
going to point out that Adam Gibbs plays Best Boy in Beyond the Boundary, just saying.
That's not how you spell!
Oh, for God's sakes, you two.
No, fuck you, we're having a fight about this. Beyond the Boundary is my favorite Kyoto Annie show. fuck you, fight me, all of you in the comments, because you're all going to say Beyond the Boundary is a bad show. You know what? Piss off! And by the way, Akihito is best
Fuck
boy.
you!
Fight me,
Fuck you!
bitch!
Fuck you! I'm flipping you off right now.
Fuck you! No, fuck you,
Okay,
asshole!
now Megan's gone full Oprah. You get a fuck, and you get a fuck, and you get a fuck.
Anyways.
Look under your seat, Lilac! It's a fuck!
See here, I don't have a horse in this damn race.
No, can I just say one thing before before we really dive into our thoughts
That
on
you creamed
Adam?
your jeans over Adam Gibbs being Hotaro?
No. Can I just bring one thing up?
That it was wetter than the Mariana Trench down there?
Fuck up! I'm gonna punch you! No.
That it was so wet you could put a fish in there and it would live?
Is that why there's ripples in the opening?
God damn it. I hate you all so much, except for Roots. I love you, Roots. Thank you for not being a part of this right now. No.
Ain't no big fan.
No, it's that boy he sees.
No,
Your chicken
I
wing.
have to bring this up. I have to
back
shut the
For
fuck
kids,
up.
Seraph of the End.
Okay, I'm gonna
I
stop.
have to bring this up because this is very relevant. Because you might say that this is the first time Adam Gibbs has been in a Funimation show. That is not the case.
What?
Because, and this goes back into that possible production timeline for Hyouka. Does anybody recall seeing a little show called The Disastrous Life of Psyche K?
Didn't watch it, but heard about it.
Okay, so in the last few episodes of the show, there's this character who's a money-grubbing rich kid. That's Adam Gibbs.
Ah,
Really?
Yeah. So my guess is that, because I think Psyche K finished up like probably the end of summer last year, maybe?
It was a
Or
while
early
ago.
fall?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. So my guess is they were probably in production with Hyouka at that point because, again, if you recall, Afia Yu was directing Psyche K, and she's also character crewing Hyouka. So she, while he was probably in town working on Hyouka, she probably asked if he could come in here. So, which
good.
explains a lot because I'm just sitting there the first time I saw Adam in Psyche K, and I'm like, wait, how did this happen? And now all explains everything. But anyway, I had to throw that in there real quick. But
Well, why don't you splooge about him, honey?
No, hold on. I think we should let go last.
Noah already told me I had to go last.
So that
We're saving the best for
yes,
last.
we're saving the mess for nast. What? I don't know.
I'm gonna kill you.
We all have night madness at this point. by
I
the
think
way.
Roots should go first in this roundabout because he's been an awesome pug and deserves to have the banner first. How is Adam Gibbs' Oreki?
how did I get into an anime? Like,
You didn't choose the anime life. The anime life chose you.
like, he's me. Like, holy shit, he's me.
How is he like you?
You're seeing double right now, huh?
Except he doesn't have your bitchin' beard.
No, he doesn't. And he
No one
never
has your
will.
bitchin' beard.
No one ever will. But, no, seriously, he gives off the aura of low energy, but in fact is one of the most... but is in fact incredibly thoughtful. Particularly of other people and of their situations, even though he doesn't like to admit it. And, I really like Adam Gibbs in here, mainly because he's, he also played Shinichi in Parasite the Maxim, whom, in his early arc, as he's figuring out about Migi and all the parasites, his personality's kind of similar, in a way. So it's kind of a weird thing to see him... like normally he's an actor in a Dallas dub, but that too in and of itself is a really cool thing that I'm glad that the casting director ended up doing. Not sure how exactly it happened, but I'm not going to question circumstance.
money. It happened with money.
No, here's how it happened. Mike McFarland happened. Because Mike McFarland will just get anyone at this point, let's face it.
This is not an untrue statement.
Coming soon to a Funimation near you, a new series starring Brad Swale.
No.
You know if that actually happened, I'd shit myself.
No, to be fair, probably at a close second right now to Mike McFarland's capabilities of pulling actors in this Clifford Chapin, because Gosick's a thing that exists, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that is a thing that
Just
exists.
Clifford
saying.
Chapin's gonna murder me.
Just saying.
He's gonna murder me when he hears.
He probably will.
Not if we do it first.
Yeah, I'm not sorry, buddy. Come at me. Michelle will fight me with you. Michelle, back me up, please. Look here, I'll put you on my shoulders, and I'm pretty sure you can help me claw things out. I'm fat and stable.
But yeah, I don't have a lot of words to say, but it's a largely positive experience.
God, I really fucking love this performance.
Yay!
Honestly, it was such a breath of fresh air, because Adam Gibbs is in a lot of shows that I don't watch, because they are shows I'm not interested. Also, I'm scared shitless of Parasite. Says the girl who loves Tokyo.
This is a sensible reaction.
I am also scared. I don't blame it. Yeah, I am also scared of Parasite.
Okay, look, here, for anybody who's never heard the explanation of why I can sit and watch Tokyo Ghoul, but I can't watch Parasite, Tokyo Ghoul, everything is kind of slightly neon colored and looks fake. Kagune doesn't just burst out of the skin. In Parasite, things look like they're melting and morphing and sliding, and that grosses
I mean,
me
you're
out.
not wrong.
It's John
That's my limit.
Carpenter-esque.
There is some.
Yeah, I don't do
body
I don't
horror.
fucking do John Carpenter, okay? I'll fucking do that.
It's like the
But
love
no.
baby of John Carpenter and David Cronenberg, which, holy fuck, don't... Get away. No.
Long live the new Flash!
You're making it sound better than it actually is.
He is. No, but anyway, to me, I think there's a lot of moments that everybody would say, like, this is the standout moment for Oreki as a character, and Adam Gibbs as a performance. And it's odd that we say this, because I'm going to harken back to the arc that I think everybody likes the least.
Oh, yeah, I think I know where you're gonna go.
The film festival arc. And that is this, because I brought it up with Erisu. How Alexis does a really good job drawing out a lot of the things that Oreki doesn't want to do. On the flip side of this is Adam Gibbs doing the one and only time Oreki ever truly snaps and screams at
Yeah.
because not even when he yells at Satoshi does he truly get to the level of fury. And in that scene, there's a lot of ways that other actors and other characters are gonna do fucking angry at somebody. Where you're gonna come at them and it's gonna be intense and it's gonna be loud. And you're just gonna hear all of this coming forward out of you, like out of nowhere, like, fuck this bitch. But the way that Adam Gibbs puts it through Oreki is to be seen. Because he's not yelling at anybody. He's tense. You can, like, I can feel like I'm seeing Adam Gibbs, all of the muscles up in his shoulders be tense, like he's trying not to yell. Because Oreki doesn't yell in that scene. He's intense without showing it. And you, honest to God, feel terrified at his anger at her. And it is something I've not seen out of Adam or a lot of other actors. I think maybe the only other time this year I could have maybe seen it is maybe with Rachel Robinson's Mauve as a female example from Aka, or Chris Bevins' Nino, or Austin Tyndall as Gene Otis. Aka is the only other dub I could have actually, like, in my mind, think of seeing this type of character. So I really want to applaud, I want to make sure I'm getting the right, Adam Gibbs on that scene, because it is stunningly acted between both him and Alexis Tipton. And I feel like a lot of people who are watching the dub really didn't compliment that scene. But then again, you have moments like where he confronts Dave Trosko's character, where he has a bit of humor to the way that he's going through things. But then you see moments like in the doll episode where he sees Chitanda on the bridge, and you kind of finally see that Oreki realizes that he's in love with Chitanda. And that in his fantasy...
Those moments have been kind of laced throughout the whole show. Like, we've had, like...
But that was the culmination moment where you really hear it go off in his head, like, holy shit, I'm curious about what she looks like. Because I have to know what she looks like as this beautiful living doll, but he can't. And he will never satisfy that curiosity of seeing her. And then you have kind of a couple scenes later where you see in his head, let me take over the burden of becoming the head of your family, basically, is what he says in his head.
Let me own your family.
But I'm going to pass it over to Noah. I'm going to pass on to Noah.
Thank you. And that was well worded. I'm glad that you did point out the scene in the tea... was it a tea room?
Yeah, they were having tea.
Yeah, the scene with Fuyumi. Because, yeah, that kind of brings up one criticism I have, just to start out with, because there are scenes where Oreki breaks his droll persona and gets much more upset or more enthusiastic. I didn't buy all of them, not necessarily because of the acting, but more because it didn't match the animation. Like, he got more enthusiastic, but the facial expression didn't quite match it. And they're few and far between, because he normally holds up the persona of, if I don't have to, I'm not going to, and if I have to, I'll do it as quickly as possible. He keeps that for most of the series. But that's a hard thing to pull off without being boring and dry, and I think the best example we've seen of that in English dubbing up to this point was ironically from another Kyo show, and that would have been Kyon from Haruhi Suzumiya, played by Crispin Freeman. This is a good compliment to that. Like, takes those lessons they learned from that and amps up the snarkiness and the quick-wittedness to it, because it's not just snark in his voice, it's also good quips, like the kind of good back and forth dialogue that you would get out of like an old radio show where the writing of the characters and the dialogue is the entire program, which was kind of funny to me that they worked so hard to make the writing on this good, because they also worked really hard at making the animation really good too. It's like a Sakuga city all up in this.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah, so I don't have, aside from maybe some of the over-the-top moments from Oreki not matching the moment, I really don't have anything against his acting. I
find it really funny that you actually brought up Haruhi Suzumiya, because both Hyouka and The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya were actually directed by the same director in Japan, Yasuhiro Takamoto. He also directed episodes of Lucky Star from episodes 5 onward, Full Metal Panic, Full Metal Panic the Second Raid, Full Metal Panic Fumofu, Amagi Brilliant Park, and of course Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Right. So a lot of the guy knows what he's doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So I wish I had something like more profound to say about Adam's performance on this, because as someone who went to school for English, to get a degree in English, and really appreciates well-written dialogue, I really appreciate the delivery that Adam had in a lot of the writing, and just like every episode had like a little moment of him to kind of show off good quips to him, like the scene where he's sitting in the club room and he has to sell the anthologies, and he's got like good dialogue between the different people who come in and give him like a different thing to trade every time, and it like goes through the lineup, and by the end he's got a bag of flour that saves the day. Or the scene where they go over to Eru's house and they're describing their theories about what happened to her uncle. He's got like in his head postulating about what happened in a really well-written voice. It's like the kind of thing that the English writers and readers in the audience are just gonna like eat up entirely. So good job on casting Adam. I'm looking forward to not hearing him in Parasite the Maximum, but I am looking forward to hearing him in just about anything else he does going forward.
There's a certain show that starts with an H that you should totally watch, that's starting on High Dive this week, because he's in it.
I'm excited for that. No.
We can't
Honey and Clover.
We can't say right now.
We can't say.
Can't say right now. He's gonna keep guessing.
Haruto.
No, what?
Yeah.
Haruto's dad, actually.
Just go, Lila. Just go. We'll
Okay.
Take it away.
Okay.
The Night Madness is taking over.
Night Madness is taking over very hardcore. So, give this whole thing some context, because I know we were screaming and yelling earlier. I've been enjoying Adam Gibbs as a voice actor for probably a lot longer than anyone here.
Mm-hmm.
And you can imagine my wish, because there are really good voice actors in Dallas and with Sentai, and you know, obviously the wish occurs like, hey, maybe...
You mean Houston Sentai?
Excuse me. Thank you. There's always that wish, is like, I wonder what it'd be like if they came over to Dallas, got to be in a Funimation show, and Adam Gibbs was probably one of the first ones that came to mind that I feel could cross that bridge. In terms, at least the newer, fresher talent pool down in Houston. And then, originally, Psyche K happened. And like I was saying before, I'm like, yo, what? Like, what? How did this happen?
What?
And then we hear about Hyouka coming in and being announced. I'm like, okay, not only does this make sense, but wait, what? And I think that not only is this probably my favorite performance of Hyouka, I think that this is probably one of my favorite performances from Adam Gibbs in general. Because not only does he get the not necessarily lazy but lackadaisical attitude that Oriki has, he gets his snarky moments. Again, going back to the beginning when he was telling Satoshi to swallow whatever was on the tip of his tongue. He gets the snark, he gets the lackadaisical moments, he gets the bits of curiosity that he himself has. And Oriki's character, he goes through a nice transition from being this person who doesn't want to expend a lot of energy to actually, like, taking initiative on his own and getting himself involved in things without having needed to be pushed by Chitanda or Satoshi or Ibara or any of them.
You're referring to like the research into his teacher who was looking at the helicopters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That
I think that guy was also played by Phil Parsons,
that's that episode in particular, you kind of see that a bit more. But that character progression that Oriki has throughout the whole show, and coupling that with Oriki's personality in general, Adam Gibbs managed to nail pretty much every single point of that character. And personally, I think it speaks volumes to Adam as a voice actor. And I'm sorry, because again, Adam Gibbs is probably one of my favorite voice actors over in the Houston Sentai area, and the fact that he's hanging out here in a Funimation dub, I'm just so happy.
Dive.
Shut up! I'm gonna punch you.
You can't punch me from Boston.
I don't care.
She will hit that like the fist of an angry god.
I will find a way.
Power of the god hand.
I'm trying to sing my praises, and you keep making things worse.
Sorry, Mom. You can continue.
But I think this is a stellar performance, bar none. Probably one of, if not my favorite performance of the show itself, and probably my favorite performance from Adam Gibbs in general. And since Psyche K Season 2 is a thing, I'm hoping he's gonna at least come back for his wonderful character, who's a snarky little rich boy. But, not only that, but I hope that also gives him a good excuse while he's doing Psyche K to, that only if Psyche K is confirmed as Simuldub, to, again, reach out and take part in other shows, when that happens, because it's great when you see those voice actors cross in between those two studios, and I just want to see Sentai actors here over in Funimation more, Funimation over in Sentai more, though it's
Bring Bryson back as
Bring Bryson over.
Cowards.
Bring
No, they're
Bryson
like
over
4
to
hours
Dallas.
apart.
Bryson over, you cowards.
Well,
Bring
Houston
Bryce-
and Dallas are like right next to each other, right? I mean, that can't be too
Yeah.
difficult.
That's-
no, they're
that's
like
the
4 hours
downside.
away.
That's the downside.
No, we've all been to Texas. We all learned that the roads there are stupid.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is.
But
It is like a Lego track of
but bottom
insanity.
You know what I remember from Dallas? I remember almost punching Noah out.
Also,
But
if I recall, Noah took
in
a
a
little
movie
trip to
theater.
Suplex
Yes.
City.
It was all for love.
But
Yeah, it
but
was.
bottom
It's awesome.
line,
All right, but let's let her finish.
yes, that too happened.
My
But-
neck still hurts, damn it.
But bottom line, Adam Gibbs as Otaki is phenomenal. I want to see Adam Gibbs in more Funimation stuff. Though if that does not happen, I will gladly take any of the stuff that he does for Sentai because Adam Gibbs is a fantastic actor in general. I'm done.
And then Funimation and
Okay.
Sentai will fuse into one company, and it will be called Funtai.
That is not going to happen. You
I
know
don't
it won't.
think
Yeah,
you
okay.
want an anime
Funny
company
roll
called
tide.
Chouchai.
Whoa. Whoa. Anyway.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Anyway.
This is, because it sounds like
Yes.
Yes, we need to finish.
Can
That
we
makes me
finish-
want it
can-
even
can-
more now.
Can we
Anyway,
finish?
let's move on
Can
to
we
final
finish for the
thoughts.
night? I'm tired.
Yes, show me the way to go home. So, final thoughts. I vote Roots goes first.
I second this.
I third this. Go.
I fourth this.
Okay. I knew from the outset Hyouka would be a weird case for me. I knew certain aspects of the Japanese wordplay were gonna be steamrolled for the sake of coherence, but I'm actually not upset by this much. While it deviates from the Japanese at times, rarely does it feel like a discount experience. By sacrificing the wordplay, they were able to build a little more on the character banter, which made each of the 4 protagonists feel just a little bit more organic. Unfortunately, due to watching the series on Verve, I did not have the opportunity to watch the subtitled version for the review, and I won't until it's actually uploaded to Crunchyroll. This is a bit of a shame, as I feel it hampered my ability to give the dub a proper comparison. That said, the series is a must-own, and when I do, I look forward to viewing the original for myself. As to whether or not I can recommend the dub, yes, with an asterisk attached. I am only a demi-professional anime dub reviewer, so this one stumped me a bit. I say watch both and make your own opinion. This show seems to be designed with repeat viewings intended, and not just in mind, in order to catch the subtle clues and details left behind. So, doing a dub-sub comparison would actually do the series itself a favor.
Who goes next?
You go.
You have to.
You go next, because you have a crying child in the
I do.
background.
Okay. My thoughts on this show are that I did not know what to expect going into this, and coming out of it, I think this is going into my top 10 series that I've seen of the year, because I do my own personal list of all the stuff that I've seen throughout the year and put it into a top 10 list. And this surprised me the most because, like I said, I'm really into well-written dialogue that is like has good wordplay, good puns, has like clever little quips between characters that feel very natural, and especially well-acted dialogue between characters that really conveys the sense of what a high schooler enjoys, which is all these mysteries they go through are very small mysteries. These feel like kind of mysteries that you could actually have in your own high school experience, and if you were clever enough, you would be able to solve them. So getting to see them partake in this and develop throughout the whole show was a very satisfying experience, brought even more strongly on by the strong performances of the characters. I don't even think that I lost anything by watching this in the dub instead of the sub, because I'm sure that there's like word plays on words or like certain meanings and things that may be easily conveyed if in subtitles, but if you just want to get the gist of the show with good acting performances and most of the translations covering a lot of like the important stuff, like why Juumonji is stealing all the stuff, or most importantly the significance of the word Hyouka, which is actually kind of interesting when they translate into English because the pun itself already is an English joke. It is a very satisfying experience, and I'm very glad that I signed up to do this. I think Megan was the one who suggested we do this. Thank you, Megan. You done made a good decision.
Yay, Lilac, go.
I mean, we all know the reason why I force myself in here, but
Adam Gibbs fan club.
legit though, he's a great actor. Fight me.
He is.
Nobody's saying he's
I
not.
know. I know. I think overall, I kind of think that this is a very, very strong dub for a very solid show. Again, I haven't seen Hyouka until I watched it to talk about it.
I don't think a lot of us saw it until we watched
to be
this.
fair.
We're not pirates.
No, well,
I was for a little bit, but...
we were young once. We were young and naive once. But it's a very solid dub. I love the direction. I love the writing on it. And the casting is probably the most interesting of all, because the 4 main characters, they are relative unknowns, at least in the Funimation Dallas pool. Especially Adam Gibbs, because, again, you've never heard him in a Funimation dub before. But all 4 of them, you could potentially say that each one of those 4 main characters, Adam, Madeline, Dallas, and Jill, all 4 of them, those are the best performances I've ever seen them do for acting in their careers. You could easily say that. And it shows that the 4 of them, they were able to carry the show through its entirety, and they do such a phenomenal job. And this isn't to say that the rest of the dub is terrible either. The rest of it is very solid. But if you didn't have that core 4-person cast there, and if you didn't have such phenomenal performances as you did, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. So, good on you guys. I absolutely loved it. It's fantastic. I think this is probably one of the best home video dubs I've seen this year. And unfortunately, there's...
Because the other one you're recording tomorrow.
Potentially. I mean, but I also have, like, Gosick, and there's Skippy, there's Akito the Exiled still, there's...
Yeah, that's an episode we were supposed to do and never fucking got around to it. But it still
qualifies. There's a lot of competition this year, to me, in terms of fantastic English dubs, and Hyouka is just gonna be thrown into the mix now because it's such a phenomenal dub, and I just loved every second of it.
Mind if I springboard off you then? Because for the longest time, my best home video release of the year was Akito the Exile. Which, yes, guys, we did have an episode planned for that, and Lilac and I have watched it, and we could fucking record it at any time.
I'd have to rewatch it because I forgot half of it.
But it's like 5 hours, and it's not that hard to rewatch. But for me, I have to completely agree with her. This is one of the best home video releases I've watched. I obviously still need to watch Anohana. And I really haven't watched a lot of Viz stuff, and I don't know if Blue Exorcist Kyoto Saga comes out in time.
I don't think it's going to.
But no, I agree with her completely. This dub could have really fucked up. And that's being nice.
Yeah.
There is probably a huge subsection of anime fans who think that this dub is absolute garbage. Because it's not exactly... Again, there are going to be a subset of people who think that this is a show that's undubbable, like Bakemonogatari. Which even I, as a dub fan, find that to be an undubbable dub, with the amount of wordplay and text use and bada bing, bada boom, but I think I'm the only one of the 4 of us who's actually sat through more than an episode of Bakemonogatari.
I don't dare touch it at all, so...
you could also say the Tatami Galaxy, you could...
See...
Fair.
Or even Ping Pong, but they dubbed Ping Pong, and it's one of the best dubs Funimation's ever put out.
True.
I wouldn't put Hyouka there.
But it's definitely a solid one this year.
It's a solid one this year. And it's really good that it's really solid, because I do agree with Lilac that for Jill, Dallas, Madeline, and Adam, this is some of the best I've ever heard them. And I really hope that their performances, specifically Dallas, that this was kind of something that because he worked with a certain director, that springboarded him to another certain role that we're going to talk
you
about.
have a good point. You're
That-
right.
Where another group of people are going to talk about that I'm not allowed to say. But if you can read between the lines, you know exactly who I'm fucking talking about.
I'm allowed to.
You're on that episode. Piss off.
Yes, I am.
But I think that Mike and Chris as directors did a really good job making it so that you could never tell that there were two different directors on the show. You could never tell that there were two writers between Emily and Bonnie. That even for all the cast that we didn't talk about, because there's a lot of other really good actors in here, like Rico Fajardo's in this, Aaron Dismuke's in this, who else is in this? Jerry Jewell's in this, Laura Woodhull, I believe at one point Laura Woodhull and Allison Victorian play sisters in this.
Oh yeah.
Which was the
Forgot about
biggest
that.
fucking mindfuck I've ever sat through in an anime dub.
Yeah, she kind of flipped her shit.
I was like, what the fuck? Which one's which? But honestly, you're doing yourself a greater disservice by not watching Hyouka, because I do think it's one of the better Kyoto Any shows. I'd actually put it as my number 3. No, my number 2, because my number 1 is always going to be Beyond the Boundary for reasons. My number 2 is going to be this, and my number 3 is Free and Free Eternal Summer. You're doing yourself a disservice by not watching Hyouka and not watching it at least once in the dub. Even if it's just to understand the story beats. If you want to go and watch the wordplay in the Japanese afterwards so that you at least know what the story is to all of this, that's completely fine. But I think if you are a dub fan and you're even a little bit hesitant about this, just go fucking into it. Just do it. Just do it! Because you're doing yourself a disservice by not watching the dub at least once.
That's a heck of a way to end the episode.
I always do that to you guys. It's like I'm like this big, loud, obnoxious asshole, but when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, here's your
thesis statement.
Yeah.
This is my thesis statement. This is what got me my degree.
Surprise!
And that's
surprise!
how it is.
And that, children, is why Megan is in like $30,000 of debt.
Hooray!
Well, to be fair, I think we all are.
Hooray! And I'd still buy anime first. Anyway, I'm an adult. I'm responsible.
Make good life decisions, children.
Decisions.
Team
Buy
Bad
anime.
Decisions.
Join Team Bad Decisions. We have t-shirts.
No, we
We
don't.
really should.
Join Team Bad Decisions. You can high five Arcana. Or high fives with Arcana not included with admission.
Anyway.
Speaking of plugging, how about we tell people where they can
Plugging
see this
things.
show that we've been plugging for the past 5 hours?
So if you've... Shut up. If you want to watch Hyouka in the dub, you can head over to Funimation.com and sign up for a free, I believe, 14-day trial.
Probably.
I don't know anymore. A free trial, which they will charge you as soon as you're done. But honestly, for the amount of money that you're going to pay for a Funimation Now subscription, it is more worth the money. However, if you would like to pay a little bit more and combine two great things into one, so that you don't have a separate Funimation and or Crunchyroll account to watch the sub, you can also get Verve, which I believe you pay a little bit more a month, but you get both things as well as a couple of other channels. Just be aware that Verve has still not fixed their issue with song and state and sign subtitling. So if you do prefer to have that, we do suggest that you buy both a separate Crunchyroll and Funimation account. If you somehow don't know how you've gotten to this channel, you are on the Dub Talk Podcast channel, where you can subscribe to us, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, wherever the hell we post social media shit, where we try to post episodes at least once a week, sometimes classics, sometimes reviews, sometimes vlogs, who knows. Anyway, so other children, plug yourselves.
Okay. My name is President Noah Clue, and oh wait, no, that's Roots' gig.
I'll say what?
Usurper! Usurper.
I give up my throat over my dead body.
Excellent. We'll do this battle royale style to the death.
Can we not?
All right, fine. We'll only do it battle mini royale.
No.
Well,
Anyways,
we'll thumb fightsies.
what do they call a quarter pounder with cheese over in Britain?
Stop it.
Royale with
Just-
cheese.
Just plug yourself.
Okay. My name is Noah Clue, and I can be found over on Twitter at Noah Clue. And also, I have a YouTube channel that I am currently working on something. I'm actually legitimately working on something for. So hopefully by the time this episode goes up, it will already be over on the channel. I'm working on something to cover
shit.
all of the anime for the fall 2017 season. And I mean all of it. So look forward to that monstrosity. It will be
Too
fun,
many anime.
people.
Too many.
And
anime.
I love watching, of course watching, but talking about anime and cartoons of the Western variety of the entire planet, actually. So if I actually get this project off the ground, there will be many more videos talking about that, not just about English dubs.
My name is Stephanie, also known as Lilac. I apologize for being a tired human being who is also... I'm gonna admit, I was a little bit sick for a bit that I had to lay down while recording. I'm like, I gotta get through this.
You have to write the script. Write the ending of the script.
Must get through. But yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Lilac Anime Review, with review being spelled as a musical review, not a standard review. When I am not running this dog and pony show,
When you're not being mom.
when I'm not running this dog and pony show on a daily basis, I basically tweet about my life and how boring it can be sometimes. And also probably tweet about anime and yell at everyone else. That's my life.
Talk about boring. Didn't you get to drive like a Volvo or something today?
That's a story for another day, sir.
Anyway, Roots, go.
Yeah, you can find me, Roots of Justice, at Roots of Justice on Twitter. I post pug pics, I wear a nice comfy tinfoil hat and talk about anime stuff. And that's
And when he's
how
not-
it goes.
Wait, you like anime?
And when he's
I like anime.
I know, right?
We should get together.
anyway, when he's not wearing his comfy tinfoil hat and posting pugs, he's probably dealing with me crying over the phone.
You do cry
It's
a lot
true.
over the phone.
You do.
But you're so nice to... But you're so easy to talk to.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, my name is Megan, otherwise known as Queen Error 2. My job is to basically shitpost and be Lilac's adorable pain-in-the-ass fake wife.
Fake.
No, legit, her mom thinks we're dating or some shit.
No, she thinks that we're gonna become married old cat ladies.
Oh my god.
Except for she doesn't know that Lilac's not into
No,
women.
I'm not.
And I'm not into anything.
You could still be like the what is it, the women from Coraline.
We're gonna be like, no, me, her, Gigi, and my body pillow are gonna
No,
be
we're
Golden
not.
Girl. But I was gonna make the Kaneki body pillow Blanche.
Jesus Christ. Can we just go? Can we finish, please?
Anyway, but if you want to follow me, you can follow me at Queen Era 2. And by the sounds of
I
Roots
need
is dying,
context.
we are finally done with this episode. The night madness has set in. The mystery of the night
And we
madness.
finished exactly at midnight.
Is Blanche.
Can I go to bed,
Is
please?
Yes, everybody, go to bed. Good night, children, and Otaku.
Good night.
Which one is
Night.
B. Arthur? I forget.
Ruby Roo.
Anyway,
God damn it.
aloha. Go read some Agatha Christie.
Kayano